you know, we're gonna go, and I feel like we're gonna populate the solar system, galaxy, and universe, you know, and aliens will be just our creations, you know, and it's gonna be mechanical structures that we'll place all over the galaxy. And I had this notion about the speed of thought, right? I wrote a story for the NFT project, and these people are like gods, but they could travel at the speed of thought. I never really reconciled what that meant. It just sounded cool at the time. Yeah. But it was like a piece of quantum, it was a quantum entanglement download that I received. And then later on, I was like, oh, we will have machines building other machines on other planets, and then we can fucking get there by email our consciousness to that place or this place. So that's the reconciliation of traveling at the speed of thought. So that's going to be an addition to physics. They have to write that book, but that I came up with that shit. Civilize the mind, make savage the body. This is the Civil Mind, Savage Body podcast, and I'm your host, Mike Rashid King. We will explore and discuss ways to expand consciousness, increase your health, reverse aging, and refine our lifestyles to live a life in an abundance. Now, we're currently aware of 3 dimensions, but as technology and human intellect advances, consciously tapping into the 4th dimension is inevitable. 3 dimensions of space, 1 dimension of time. That extra dimension is a degree of freedom. However, can we travel back in time? I don't think so. But is that accurate? Or are we looking at this the wrong way? Let's say you wanted to find me, right? You have to know my exact location, and you have to know when I'm there. Is time just a construct, or is it as natural as the air that we breathe? One thing that I'm certain of is I don't know. I don't believe anything. I either know or I don't know. But hopefully together, we'll all find out. Enjoy the show. Since the last time we talked, you were here, it's a lot of things going on in the media, in the news. Some of them I don't care about, but it's interesting to talk about. It's interesting. One thing that's really interesting is the whole thing with Ye. Very interesting.
Yeah.
You know, kind of frustrating to me, the fact, like, now his rhetoric has escalated to someplace kind of weird, and his delivery mechanism is bizarre to me.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the thing he said first was, you know, I don't think anyone can disagree with, and that was how there are certain people of a certain ethnicity and religion here in America that control record labels. They ran record labels in which black artists are throttled, you know, and paid to speak death to other blacks and hatred to other blacks and degeneracy to the communities and to the culture of blacks. And that's okay. When you say one thing critical about those same people, not even hateful, but critical, you're banned. You're admonished, you know. What's your take on these things?
It's a lot there.
It's a lot.
It's a lot there. It's a lot of history there. Let's start with Ye. Ye has always been counterculture. You know, when people were producing rap records of the past, it was predominantly gangster music, you know.
Yeah.
And then he came out with the pink polo and was just talking about
Jesus, college.
Yeah, you know, normal things that the average person could relate to.
Right.
Ye's always been counterculture. So I know it's a lot of people, you know, because of his rhetoric recently has hopped off his bandwagon, because that's what they were doing. They were bandwagon fans of Ye. If you knew Ye, you knew he was always going to be counterculture, right? So for example,
I mean,
when he dropped the White Lives Matter thing, right? You had a whole bunch of right-wing type individuals who were like, yeah, you know, freedom of speech.
Right.
And then when he made a left turn and started talking about them peoples, they was like, wait, no, you can't do that. And it's just like, wait.
That was interesting.
You know, and, you know, it's like, on one hand, I hear many right-wing voices say things like, you know, black folks need to get over slavery. they make arguments against reparations, but they don't have that energy with that other group. I need them to be consistent. I like people that are consistent no matter how you interchange the variables.
You respect them.
Yeah, so it's just like, and I'm not saying that you have to go to another group of people and tell them to get over it. What I'm saying is you got to be a human first and have some sort of humanity and say something was done wrong to these people. Let's figure out how something can be done right by them. Right? So we saw that happen with Jewish people. They were done wrong, and certain things happen, and their situation, has been rectified to a certain extent.
To a very high degree.
Yes.
If you notice, and it was always weird to me, any presidential candidate, they have to give their spiel somewhere along the line of their loyalty to Israel.
Yeah.
Like, what is this part? What does that have to do with us? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you can't decouple Jewish people from European history. They're very closely intertwined.
I'm gonna ask you this. When you really look at it, you look at what Jerusalem is, northern part of Africa. I was always confused, like, how did so many Europeans, how is that the image of a Jew?
For that region. You're saying that region?
Well, in the world, like what we see.
That along the Mediterranean.
Yeah, I know that their Jews used to look a little different. But how do we get to where we are now? Do you know?
So this is the argument of religious versus ethnic, right? Are you a religious Jew? Are you an ethnic Jew? Right? And some of them claim.
Do you know what they claim though? Like the majority of them?
I can't say what the majority of them claim. I know there's various different types, right? You got your Sephardic, you got your Ashkenazi.
That seems like a hot buzzword. Like, a lot of people don't like that, Ashkenazi.
Okay.
They don't like that. They're like, nah.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard.
But they exist though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I'm being honest, I don't know much about what or why or when or who.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was like, can we talk about that? Let's explore that. You know what I mean? You
got your secular. You got the kind that is orthodox.
I grew up around those kind.
Yeah. So you have your religious and your non-religious Jew. So it gets complicated once you start doing that, right? Once you start saying, well, if Jewish comes from Judaism, which is supposed to be one of the three Abrahamic religions, what is a Jew that's not aligned with the religion, right? And it comes down to the fact that, can you tell somebody what they are? Or can you tell somebody what they are not? Right?
Yeah.
For example, somebody may come to you and they say, Mike, you're not African because you're from America. You were born here. You're not from Africa. You might say, no, my lineage is African. It gets real funny when it comes to those type of conversations.
That I can see that argument, right? However, you can't come from Jew, right? Maybe your family were Jewish as a religion. Maybe you convert to Judaism as a religion. But is being a Jew considered an ethnic group? Is that an ethnic group by definition? Or is it a religion?
I think what happens is if you trace their lineage back to their grandfathers and their great-grandfathers and their great-greats and so on and so forth, at some point you find a religious group. So what I am speculating is that at some point some of this group has decided to relinquish the religion and no longer identify with it, but because of their lineage, they still identify as Jewish. That's how I'm speculating to understand the matter.
So in layman's, people whose family, their ancestry subscribe to the religion of Judaism, they don't, but they still are part of the club.
That's what I'm guessing.
Okay. And that's like the ones in America, the ones that people complain about?
Well, okay, so let's dissect that, right? When we talk about the ones that people complain about, if you go to Brooklyn, black folks aren't complaining about non-religious Jews. They're complaining about the Orthodox community. There's a huge fight with the Orthodox community. And you're seeing that, they're seeing violence, and they're documenting black people attacking Orthodox Jews in Brooklyn, New York, et cetera, but they're religious. Then you have the argument with Ye, and Ye is what some would say is attacking Jewish people who are not following the religion. So it's really hard to lump them all together.
Right.
And that's where the conversation gets murky, because people want to say Jews, but it's just like, which ones?
Yeah, it's so many factions.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's so interesting. We live in a free country in which we have the freedom of speech. So if someone is to say something that's offensive, I think people should have the right to do that. Like, that's part of freedom of speech. If someone wants to call me a nigga, okay, I'm gonna call you something back, or I'm gonna ignore you.
Yeah.
I don't think that's me, and I'm being honest. Like, I don't think someone should be deplatformed for using a racial slur, right? But that's never the case when people are being slapped with anti-Semitism.
Okay.
It's rarely the case. I mean, I'm sure it happens.
Yeah.
Right? But a lot of times they jump in the gun a little bit. I'm like, yo, you jumped out the window. He's making a criticism about said person who happened to be of this religion. I don't know. I just think it's weird when people are not what you said. Nah, I can't say that. I want to say when they're not practicing a particular religion, but they want the benefits of that, right? And the protection of that, but they're not doing it. They're not living it, right? Because there are a lot of other Jews that are living by the Torah that do not agree with what they're doing.
Yes.
And they speak out about it, but you don't hear it in the media. I mean, because I guess they kind of own. I'm not trying to offend nobody,
right?
But I don't know if they own the media. It seems like they do. It seems like those are the top dogs.
Okay.
I don't know why that's disrespectful. I don't know why they get mad about that. That's a flex. I want to own some shit like that. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you mad that I'm pointing that out? You know what I mean? Anyway, but somebody's to point out my building. I'm like, yes, that's me. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. It's just interesting. I don't understand it. I would love to have. I'm friends. I have some dear friends to me that are Jewish, that I would love to sit down and have a conversation with them, not from an adversarial standpoint, but I just really want to understand their perspective and why certain things hurt them so easily. You know what I mean? And I hope that's not even insensitive. It seems like that. You know what I mean? So
I don't. Again, at that level, you're dealing with individuals. Yeah. And you could ask 10 Jewish people and you might get 10 different answers. Right. Just like when they come back and they ask us about, where are black folks from? You can get one dude gonna say, I'm from here. You got another dude that's gonna say, I was brought here on a slave ship. You got another dude say, I'm from Africa. Another dude gonna say, I'm from Kemet. Another dude gonna say is, I'm a Moor.
What are you?
I'm from the ether. Okay. I'm from the ether, first and foremost. I exist in the other plane. I identify as a non-being first. When we come down to...
What is a being?
Being, to be.
A being is to be?
To be, to exist, to manifest.
A being?
Yeah. To manifest.
Just so we got... we have accurate...
definition.
Definitions, yeah.
Yeah. When you're in the ether, you don't exist in the third dimension.
Pardon my interruption, but the first time that I did a video about NAD3, I called it the fountain of youth. The reason why I'm talking about all of this, okay? And that reason is NAD3. And specifically NAD. NAD3 is a product, right? We call it the fountain of youth. And some people got their panties in a bunch. The problem with these people is they lack imagination and creativity. Now listen, the neocortex and the thalamus is where our imagination, creativity, and our consciousness resides. That's what makes us human. That's the most advanced region of the brain. Unfortunately, some people just don't access that region. They're stuck in the functions of the limbic system. The limbic system is considered the reptile brain. It's ancient, it's primitive, it's purely instinctual. Now, let's go back to my initial statement. I said that our product, NAD3, is the fountain of youth, and I stand by that product. I know it's bold, but it's true. Anything that the human mind can imagine is real, and it does come to fruition. These ideas and concepts get developed over time, produced, and then introduced to the world. Think about when the Wright brothers told people that they could fly. People laughed, they ridiculed them, ostracized them. Innovation is never well received in the beginning because people fear progress. People have a fixed mindset, so the idea of a thought that seems impossible becoming possible is just so hard for some people to fathom. But we have so many innovations that at some point they were impossible, but are now normal in our everyday lives. I mean, check this out. Right now, you're looking at me through your phone. You're looking at a two-dimensional version of me that appears to be three-dimensional. You hear me and you see me like as if I'm standing right in front of you, but I'm not. I could be thousands of miles away from you. And this is not even live. This was recorded a long time ago. This is pure magic to people 50 years ago, but it's normal now. We're literally living in the future. We have so much information at our disposal, so many resources we could use to innovate and create. And listen, we've created the fountain of youth. Now, I'm 45 years old. I've recently taken an epigenetic age test, and the results showed that my biological age is 29 years old. Now, I'm sure that some of that comes from me having fairly decent genetics, but most of it is a result of my training, my nutrition, and also this product that I use right here called NAD3. See that? I've been taking this for years, consistently. NAD is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. I know that's a tongue twister, but that's what NAD is. What it is a coenzyme that's essential to metabolism. Every living cell has it, but it decreases as we age. When you have low amounts in the body, it leads to our chromosomes becoming damaged by our telomeres shrinking. When telomeres shrink, we're more likely to develop cancers, disease, and overall fast track to death. So some of the things that decrease our NAD levels are aging, overeating, also eating processed foods, stress, smoking, alcohol, and pollution. There's many more, but those are the main things. But listen, I know it sounds bleak, but there's hope. Now, it's more than hope. There's a solution. Now, a recent study from Stanford University cited that an adequate amount of NAD in the body extends the length of telomeres, and it literally reverses aging in cells in humans. You hear what I said? It literally reverses the aging cycle in our cells. When our cells age and die and get damaged, we die. This reverses the aging process in cells, which in turn reverses the aging process in us. Now, it's not drastic, but it's something. Training, 100%. Optimizing your nutrition, 100%. Meditation, 100%. But also taking NAD exogenously, that's the vibe right there. Now, there's two ways to do this. One is by IV, which is a very effective way. However, it's not really practical for most people. One, it takes a long time. It could take an hour up to 2 hours, depending on how fast you have the drip go into your arm. Now, the faster you have it go in, you're gonna feel nauseous, okay? So, outside of that, it also costs $1,000 every time you sit down to get it done. Like I said, not practical for most people. The second alternative is our alternative. It's our product, NAD3. You see? You can take it as a supplement every day. I've been taking it for years. My father has been taking it for years. If you could see, my father's 75 years old. He's still the picture of health. Speaks clear, talks clear, mind is sharp, and he's physically active. I blame a lot of that on NAD3, okay? Everyone in my family takes it. This is a manifestation of a thought that was in someone's head, an idea that sounded crazy, right? Research, development, refinement, bam, brought it to the market, and it's here, and it works, and it's powerful. Now, what you can do is click the link below. We've attached research papers, published studies, so you can see the effectiveness of N83. You don't have to take my word for it. I let the experts tell you themselves. All right. Much love, y'all. You know I do nothing but stand behind the best and put the best out. So keep rocking with your boy, and let's live long, fruitful lives. All right, we out of here. Peace. So you feel you don't exist?
I identify with the part of me that does not exist in the third dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Once that's where I start at,
mm-hmm.
right? Like sometimes I go on a podcast, people ask me, about myself. I say I'm a reincarnated ascended master.
Am I talking to you? Am I talking to you right now?
Yes, you are.
Okay. But you're not a being.
I am not a being.
Okay.
But I am being.
You're being in the verb form.
Yes.
Not the noun form.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So sometimes when I go on a podcast, people ask me, they say, who are you, da da da. I say I'm a reincarnated ascended master.
Okay.
This is not my first life.
What qualifies you to be an ascended master?
My ego.
What qualifies your ego to be that of an ascended master?
Absolutely nothing. Just the fact that it sounds cool.
I fucks with it. I do. I really do.
Right? Like my ego, you have these inclinations that make you feel like things are very familiar. Mm-hmm. You look at, how I observe the world and then how I observe other people and how they observe the world. And I look at things and they don't see the same thing I see. And I'm wondering, how can't you see this as easy as I do?
So you think they're stupid?
No.
It's okay.
No, I don't think they're stupid.
But if you do, it's okay.
But I don't.
Okay.
What I believe is, or how I make it an intellectual matter, mm-hmm. or try to explain it, I basically say, well, I was probably here more times than them, which is why this stuff comes more natural to me. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is their second life, mm-hmm. and maybe this is my 10th. Mm-hmm. So this comes more natural to me.
I got you.
This is just how I'm trying to intellectualize it.
Okay. Well, that wouldn't be a matter of ego then. You giving a specific reason on why you feel a certain way, right?
Right. Well, ego was the.
I mean, it's not a because it sounds cool definition. You know what I'm saying? You actually articulated why you feel you're an ascended master. Yeah.
Well, ego is just the operating system for this plane. Mm-hmm. Right. So when I say ego, sometimes people take it as, either bad or good, mm-hmm. and ego has the ability to be neutral.
Yeah, it's just it's a mechanism, it's a tool.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So we can oscillate between bad and good. Mm-hmm. Ego is our interface. It manifests also as our personality. Mm-hmm. So when I look at ego, I look at it as this is my operating system. This is the thing I use to sort of manage myself in this world. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's what I mean when I say ego. And then I say ascended master. Ascended master is putting a hierarchy on things, mm-hmm. which could also be interpreted as an egoic thing to do. Like, mm-hmm. I'm above you, right? Mm-hmm. I don't like doing that.
So question, are you a master over these people? Or of these people?
So
or what are you a master of?
I want to answer that with the first thing that came to my mind. Mm-hmm. And the answer is yes, I am a master over these people. Mm-hmm. And that's not an egoic response in a negative sense. That's mm-hmm. just how my ego interprets it. And what I always come back to is the very intellectual thing is we find definitions of word, right? Pastor, what is a pastor? From my research, if I'm recollecting correctly, pastor in Spanish means shepherd. Mm-hmm. And what do they always call people who are unaware? They call them sheep, mm-hmm. right? Once upon a time, I never wanted to be a leader. I thought that people should lead themselves. Mm-hmm. But as I started my journey in this life, I looked behind me and I saw people were following me. Mm-hmm. People were mimicking me. People were copying me. And that's when I realized the responsibility that comes with being me. And I had to take that leadership role on. So when I say master over them, it's not in the sense of master/slave. in a negative sense, it's more like master slash slave in a computer sense. You have a hard drive, you boot up with the master hard drive first, and the slave is the second hard drive, right? I view it as that, where I'm able to interpret this world for the souls that haven't been here as many times as me, and give them guidance and allow them to reach their higher selves. And then the hope, the desire from me is that they ascend over me and they become my master. And then now I get to pull on their coattails and say, lead me. And it's a symbiotic relationship.
If your amount of lives that you've lived is greater than theirs, and that has elevated you to a status of an ascended master, how could they ever be your master? Inherently, they've lived less lives than you, based on the logic.
They may master a particular part of the matrix. They may master sales. They may master technology, MMA, some field of theirs. For example, what if in my past 10 lives, I was a scholar in every life, but they did 5 lives, but every life they were a warrior, right? Now we're in this life, and because they are warrior stock, they ascend to higher levels of income. This higher levels of income is going to put them in worlds that I could not imagine, because I'm not a 10 millionaire, 100 millionaire, whatever. So because they're in these rooms, they can open a door and allow me to peek in and help me elevate in a 3D sense of things. That's what I mean.
Okay, all right. So how do you utilize your status as an ascended one in this physical world now? Or are you in this physical world? I'm still trying to reconcile that. I don't understand that fully.
I'm everywhere.
So you're omnipresent, like what they say God is.
I'm you.
And I'm you.
Bingo.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I am a being.
You are being.
And I'm a being.
No, you are being. But you are not a being.
I perceive myself as a being.
In this moment.
Yeah.
Right. In the fourth dimension.
That's a real tangible thing in place. There's real tangible directions that I happen to fit into, or dimensions, and it's the dimension of freedom, which is the fourth dimension. Time is a real thing right now. It keeps going
because it's easy to understand, because you're living it.
But I'm here.
Yeah, but it's easy to understand that because you're here.
Okay.
What's not easy to understand is when you're not here.
Okay, explain it. Help us understand.
Like I said, I exist in the ether.
Let's talk about the ether. What is the ether?
The ether is the non-physical, the silence in between the noise, the space in between the atoms. What is that made of? What is dark matter?
Let's look up ether. I looked it up before.
Yeah.
I think it was just an ambiguous answer.
Yeah.
Like not a real answer.
It's like trying to define God.
It's like a great word. All right, ether, chemistry. Its first definition: a pleasant smelling, colorless, volatile liquid that is highly flammable. It is used as an anesthetic and as a solvent or intermediate in industrial processes. And any organic compound with a structure similar to ether, having an oxygen atom linking to alkyl or other organic groups. Number 2, in literature, the clear sky, the upper regions of air beyond the clouds, nasty gas and smoke dispersed into the ether. Informal, air regarded as a medium for radio. The noun, the ether, blah, blah, blah. Archaic, physics. A very rarefied and highly elastic substance formerly believed to permeate all spaces, including the interstices, what the fuck ever that is, between the particles of matter, and to be the medium whose vibrations constituted light and other electromagnetic radiation.
So that's what I was saying before, where I was talking about that space in between the atoms. What is that, right? Mm-hmm. That's where
that's
I
ether,
exist.
and you're the ether. You're the space in between
of
atoms.
Ether.
You're of ether, so you are essentially the glue that holds atoms together.
Potentially.
Okay.
Potentially. Again, you try to understand things intellectually, but
I'm open to understand it in any way.
Yeah.
I'm a receptor.
Once you get to a certain age, you realize that the more you know, the less you actually know. So people.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know anything.
You know that you're of the ether.
I think I am. For the sake of conversation. One thing I do know is that my life is not led by my intellectual brain. My life is led by something unexplainable. It's called intuition. And many of the things in my life are led by intuition. Intuition can put you in some really beautiful places, and not listening to it can get you really messed up. Right?
That's a fact. Yeah, I can agree with that.
So where does intuition exist? Does it exist in the brain? Does it exist outside of the brain? Or does it exist in the ether? These are the questions we can ask ourselves and try to understand. But the truth is, our limited brains cannot understand the unfathomable
yet. I have a notion that miracles and magic are only miraculous and magical when one does not understand the process of said miracle or magic.
Yes.
And we're babies, like you just said. I don't know anything. I say all the time when people, do you believe in us? I don't believe anything. I know some things and I don't know a lot. So, and I'm comfortable with that. And I'm always on a quest to know, to understand. So, because it's interesting to me, it's fascinating. For me to live the life that I live, in this physical universe, making money, doing the things that I like to do, having fun, doesn't take a whole lot of computational power up here. But I like to use this computational power to understand things because I'm fascinated by everything. I'm fascinated by weird shit too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
you are.
People do weird shit. I want to sit down with them like, hey, have a seat.
Yeah.
How'd you get here?
Yeah.
It's just fascinating. It's interesting,
Absolutely. Yeah. But you asked me another question earlier. I forget what it was. About, what was it you say about being a master in people?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said, you answered the question, no? I said, are you a master of these people?
After that, it was something else you said after that, I think.
I think you answered that. I asked, how'd you get to be?
I was talking about the whole pastor thing.
Okay.
Right? And leading people. Yeah, we was talking about that. So how I operate is off of a place of love, right? I think the question you asked me is like, how do I operate as a leader or something like that? It's along those lines is the question you asked me. But it reminds me of a question one of my friends asked me recently. They said, how are you, preventing yourself from being corrupted because I'm entering more powerful spaces and I'm going to be entering even more powerful spaces? And I told him I ground myself in gratitude first and foremost. Sometimes in order to appreciate what you have to remember what you didn't have. Mm-hmm. And I remember the times when I didn't have. And I'm not too sure if I'd be the same person if I didn't have those moments to reflect on, those ground zero moments, those moments where I was zeroed out. So that's where I start with moments of gratitude. But I also like to deal in love.
Right.
Are my actions rooted in love? Mm-hmm. No matter what they are, my responses to people, whether they're angry with me, agitated with me, annoying me. It's like trying to catch yourself, because we all have that initial egoic response, like, oh, here this motherfucker go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and after that initial reaction, you sort of have to breathe, recognize that you have that reaction, and then say, you know, what would Jesus do? As you know, they always, isn't that the quote everybody say?
Who is an ascended master?
Right. So I always come back to that and say, what will my higher self do? What would my highest, how will my higher self, what's the love response to things in life? And that's how I operate with as far as leading people. So for example, what I've realized recently is my professional career came from a path of consulting, specifically consulting startups in the mobile app space, digital marketing, branding, et cetera, sales. And now, because of my platform, I'm getting people reaching out to me and saying things like, I need advice. Can you talk to my son? I'm getting a lot of women now reaching out to me. Can you talk to my son? Can you talk to my son? And I had a young lady reach out to me the other day. She's married, kids are older. She's a bartender, starting her career. And with consulting's very interesting, because what people tend to want to do is teach and give advice. I had a kid reach out to me the other day who works for a large cryptocurrency platform, and he asked for some advice, and I gave him no advice. But at the end of the phone call, he felt empowered.
Right.
What you have to do is, in consulting and helping people, is you have to lead them to the power within.
Yeah.
Right.
I have an example of that.
Okay.
In physical in a gym. If I'm spotting somebody, say on the bench, and I'm gauging them, I'm watching them, and it's a fairly heavy weight, or I see their strength starting to degrade, they get that last struggle rep out on their own, I make them do one more, and I help them just enough. I give them only what they don't have, because it's important for them, once they're taxed, once their nervous system feels shot, to keep trying, because that's going to give them a little extra juice when they, sit down and prepare. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you have to teach people how to help themselves.
I think. Yeah, I was helping this guy strength his way through it. You're helping this person how to think a little bit more.
Yeah. You just got to get them like you said, that little.
You got it.
You got it. Yeah.
Exactly.
And some people try to dive in and give answers. When people talk to me, I don't give answers. I ask questions.
100%. I do the same. I had a consultation call a couple hours ago, and it's just notes. I'm like, I have the one phone up here and the other phone out here. I'm looking down. I'm just taking notes. You know what I mean? That's my life though, bro. I take notes all day, every day. You know what I mean? So I get it.
I had this one girl reach out. She said she was on psych meds. And she had been taking them since high school, whatever. And she reached back out to me a few months after I talked and said I'm completely off of them. And I've been on them for years, and it was because of our phone call. But the interesting about the phone call was I only asked a few questions, and one of them I said to him, I said, are you starving? He said, no. I said, okay. Because I'm really just trying to gauge where you're at in your life, because sometimes people are in a situation where you might be getting sexually abused, mentally abused. Like, those are legit concerns where we have to call law enforcement, right? Or some organization to come remove you from that environment. So I want to make sure we're not dealing with that if you have depression. So as I'm going through these things, I'm realizing this is just a middle class kid who's spoiled, that's on meds because they're comparing themselves with others. That's where a lot of depression, anxiety comes from, right? I'm not where this other person is and I should be, but everybody's on their own journey. But the one question I asked him, I said, do you think your life is better or worse than a kid who's impoverished in South America? And they said better. And I said, do you think they would swap with you? Yeah. And I just left them with that. And because sometimes people need contrast. Yeah. They need something to compare their life to. Because you think it's bad, but it's like for example, when people talk about poverty in America, I'm like, have you ever been to the slums of Brazil?
People got to realize that the poorest person in America is still in the top 5% of the world.
Of the world. Yeah.
People got to realize, yo, life fucking sucks for most people.
Yeah.
Half of the world's population don't have toilets.
Yeah. No running water. Yeah.
That's about 4 billion people. They shit in public with heaps of shit and bathe in the same shit.
Yeah.
This is a real thing.
I've seen that where kids are swimming
in fecal water.
There's garbage. There's plastics.
I'm gonna tell you a funny story, bro. Shout out to Jerry, Chris, Amir, T, Talia. I gotta shout everybody out this one. Jubril. We're in Haiti.
Okay.
We fly into Port-au-Prince, and then we got to take another little plane to Cap Haitian, where we're going. You can't just drive there. There's mountains, and there's no real major planes. It's taped up plane. You know, it was like 5 of us in a 2-seater passenger cargo plane, right? Windows down in the plane with the windows down, right? I feel like it was taped up, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure it wasn't, but that was the vibe.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, I'm a practical person, so I'm like, yo, I'm gonna just stay here. You know what I'm saying? We was out there for a minute, but I took some lysergic acid, affectionately known as LSD, knocked the edge all the way off. So I get on the plane, no problem. I look at the pilot, ask him one question: how far have you flown this plane? Driven? How far have you driven this plane? He said Alaska. I said, all right, cool. I'm like, all right. He don't want to die. I don't think he want to die. Seems like a normal guy. So we get there. Incredible, like looking at being so close, you know, flying over, you know, the mountains. But anyway, when we get to we land, and I'm thinking we'll go check in a hotel, chill for a minute, whatever. My American luxury bullshit. They drive it. We go straight to this mountain where the Haitian people who were enslaved used to go to for refuge from slavery, right? So, you know, we'll get up in there and feel it. But before we get there, we have to walk through this field. I'm a city boy, bro. I'm not a nature boy. Maybe the beach, it's nature for me. You know what I'm saying? Or I go watch it on YouTube. I'm not going in the woods and chilling like that. You know what I'm saying? So here is a field of slop. There's pigs. There's kids playing and running. It was brown, mucky. You step, you know, that sound, that juicy sound. Bro, even with the LSD, I almost didn't walk through it. I have on flip-flops.
Oh.
Bro, I was standing there right at the edge, like, they're gonna have to call me a bitch. But I did it. You know, there very carefully.
Did you?
I very carefully walked through that shit.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to look at it, but I'm trying to like make sure I ain't getting that shit on my foot. You know what I'm saying? My leg.
You better than me.
Bruh.
I'd have stood right there.
Everybody went. I had to go.
Oh, everybody left you.
Oh my God. I'm like, yo, what the
what are we
No. Not just slop, but trash.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Yeah.
The trash out here too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We gotta get Dorito bags out. We gotta talk about. Anyway, but the level of poverty was like, you can't imagine.
You can't fathom.
You can't imagine. No electricity.
Right.
At night, you know, people have their the daytime they have their solar charger or whatever for the batteries, so they can plug up their devices. And at night, people outside partying. Pretty dope, honestly.
Yeah.
So here's the thing with contrast. You have someone like the person you spoke to who's stressed the fuck out. She don't know the contrast of that. But those people was jamming, partying like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing the contrast of here. You know what I mean? So
yes.
It's very interesting.
I saw that with I spoke to somebody from Russia, and it got me thinking. You know, people joke around and say you will own nothing and you will be happy. Mm-hmm. There's actually some truth to that. And it happened in Soviet Russia, where she said, you know, the only people that really had the perks of life were the people closest to government. And that's a natural thing that happens with communism. The closer you get to power, the more perks you have. But she said we were happy. And when she said that, obviously she was saying that in contrast to post-Soviet Russia, where you have more of a Western influence, more modernity, et cetera, et cetera. But I thought that was quite funny that when people have less, they're happier. It's almost like the more stuff we have, the less happier we are. Like when sometimes you have, I've had, I guess white nationalists, you can call them, whatever they are. Caucasians, pompous Caucasians, let's call them that. And they say, oh, we civilized you guys. And my response to that is, I was happy with my straw skirt in the jungle and my little hut. I know that wasn't the reality, but I was happy. You've created modernity, and now you have Ted Kaczynski has to show you how you've actually, through industrialization, created unhappiness, and you set the human race back with all this technology and industrialization, et cetera, et cetera.
It's interesting because the way they articulate the technology is always with weapons, is never for life.
Right.
It's for death. It's for destruction.
Yeah.
And it's interesting if you think about I don't know, primitive humans or primitive behavior. What reigned supreme was violence. That was it. That was the king. That was God.
Yeah.
The most violent. So here we are, modern, like you said, modern to a degree of technology and things and methods, but the spirit of primitive people, murder, destruction. Listen, I'm a two-way gun-toting son of a gun, but I wish there was no guns.
Right.
I'm mad at the person that invented the first gun.
Yes.
Why would you do that?
Right.
It maims, kills, paralyzes, all destruction. And they make it's crazy to argue. Well, other people, yeah, but what if they didn't?
Right.
But just like a gun, and people push back on me on this all the time. A gun, a law, a rule, those are made by weak men. You know what I'm saying? A strong, civilized person don't need laws. You don't need the 10 Commandments. You feel me? So you also shouldn't need a gun. You know what I mean? If none of us had guns, look, if I'm very formidable, I'm gonna be refined with my power as well. I mean, I am now, right? I'm a peaceful person. I'm peaceful because I can inflict a lot of harm to somebody, and I don't. You know what I mean? I don't even like that shit, but just in case. So that's what civilized people, that's how they conduct themselves. They don't run around just bashing people upside the head because they can, you know? So here it is, let's
unpack that.
Okay.
What I find is when you have nourishing rituals, you don't need laws. I had a brother reach out to me, and he's on the quest to find himself in regards to the race conversation.
Okay.
You know, are we Moors? Are we Hebrews? Are we African? Are we natives? Are we, what are we? To give ourselves an identity. Many people argue that black folks are going through an identity crisis.
That's fair.
And I get that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even try to argue that.
No.
However, I don't think you can start there to repair that problem.
Okay.
What you have to do is you have to repair your ritual. You have to study the various cultures of the world, because they are the offspring of the original man. So if you study Asian culture, Islamic culture, Jewish culture, you will find many rituals. For example, if we look at Islamic culture, everybody knows they pray 5 times a day. how many times a day does an American pray? I always say, if you want to start to repair your people, take a look at your morning. What does your morning look like? What is the first thing you think? What is the first thing you put in your body? What is the first thing you put on your body? What is the first thing you do? If quote unquote black people want to begin to repair our identity, it first has to start with individuals repairing their daily ritual, beginning with their morning. I know from observing you, you have a daily ritual, and your daily ritual has created nothing but success for you. If you want to see what makes somebody successful, you don't have to look at their identity. You have to look at their daily rituals. What are their habits? And habits create momentum. Momentum creates success. This whole thing about Moors, Hebrews, Africans, natives, I think it's a beautiful intellectual conversation. However, it doesn't start there. What you must do is you must look at the culture of these people. If they're Africans, what was their ritual? If they are natives, what was their ritual? Look at the rituals, look at the things they practice on a daily, and begin to pluck the good and leave the bad.
Correct.
And that is how you repair any nation of people. What do you put into your mind? Before we started this podcast, you were talking about the destructive nature of elements in rap music. Not all of rap music is defunct and delinquent and destructive. Some of it is productive. But those elements that are destructive, is that what we put into our subconscious mind? We have to start to analyze those things. We also have to analyze the settings. For example, when they're dealing with people with dementia, they're starting to treat people with dementia with music, because music puts you into a certain space and time. Okay? What you want to listen to some Meg Thee Stallion, or you want to listen to some Cardi B? Keep in mind, I love Cardi B. I absolutely adore Cardi B. When I look at Cardi B, I don't see a hoe. I don't see a stripper. I see an angel.
I see exactly what you see. And I see her condition previously, not of her own fault.
Correct.
Because that was my mother, and my mother's a beautiful soul. And, you know, I'm closer to my mother. I know my mother, and I know her history, and, you know, the family members that her mother, who got her to where she was at, I look at them with the side eye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get it, bro. I do judge people. I'm not gonna, when people are like, you shouldn't judge, I'm like, that's weird, but okay. I judge people. You have to judge people to decide if you should deal with them or not, or whatever. But anyway, I'm not quick to judgment.
Yeah.
I want to understand. But with her, I can scan her whole life off the rip.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, we're familiar with the culture, so we've seen that story over and over, and it's never their fault. Whatever negative situation that they happen to be in, especially our queens, you know. And there's something I want to address, man. Like, it's a culture right now. It's a vibe of like disrespect.
Yeah.
To black women, all women, but black women, and it's like, yo, our black women went through some shit. You know what I mean? And, you know, fellas, lay off our sisters. Like, you know, like, if you don't care for black women, that's fine, just go away. But the commentary, I might start socking that cats in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? I just play. I'm peaceful. But on some real shit, it's like, yo, I grew up, I have a family, you know, and I have women in my family that are beautiful women that I love and I care about, and they're dope people, you know. And I have women in my family that are not that nice. That's part of it, but their lives were kind of fucked up all throughout the, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And your nurture over nature, your environment will make you a hardened, cold person.
That's correct.
You know, so I'm not one to ever employ tactics of excuses, but I can give people passes because I know not everybody has lived as many lives as I have, and don't, you know, so I get it. I see how hard it is.
Yeah, you know, when people say black women are like have this hard exterior, you know, I'm questioning. Well, first of all, people tend to criticize things they don't understand because things they understand, they simply just deconstruct. Mm-hmm. So if we were to deconstruct the psyche of this archetype of black woman we're talking about, we have to ask them, how was she raised? Mm-hmm. What was her environment like? Mm-hmm. Did she feel safe? Mm-hmm. Because people who feel safe tend to live a soft life.
Correct.
So which brings it back to the black male.
Correct.
Did we provide her with a safe environment? Mm-hmm. Because had we provided her with a safe environment, I've seen this with women who have come from the harshest environments, mm-hmm. and then they come around me, mm-hmm. and they become very feminine and soft, mm-hmm. because they feel safe, mm-hmm. in my presence. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean safe from danger. Mm-hmm. They feel safe from judgment. Mm-hmm. They feel safe from, they're allowed to be themselves. You know, sometimes when you're in certain environments, you got to be cold and calculated. Mm-hmm. When they come around me, I allow them to be themselves. They sort of, you know, fall back into their feminine nature. But I want to go back to what we were talking about before with music. Mm-hmm. Music has a time and place. We talk about drill music, and people say we should get rid of drill music, mm-hmm. and I disagree. Mm-hmm. We need to set the time and place for drill music. There is going to be a time for war, and when you're in war, you can't be playing Music Soul Child. Okay? You gonna need.
You know what's weird though? Mm-hmm. I like different types of music at times that you would not think I would listen to it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when I'm in war mode, I'm on Bach.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, so, but I'm a weirdo. I'm a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I totally get what you're saying. Here's I feel you and I agree with you, but I have a little bit of pushback on the subject matter. The content of the music is disgusting. Yes. It is leading to degeneracy of our culture. Now, shout out to my brother Fahim and 19 Keys. I'm arguing with both of them on different occasions. Music has no impact like that. It's just entertainment. It's fine. It's like, what about John Wick? What about movies? But for me, it's just entertainment, and I enjoy it, right? But I can't deny the fact that everyone in rap and around the culture is dying nonstop. You know what I mean? For the silliest things, right? And then I have to take a step back 10 or so years, 15 years into my past, how even now, like hearing certain lyrics, it makes me proud. And it shouldn't. Hearing a certain cat like talking about doing XYZ, and I know the authenticity of what he's saying. I know he's real, and I'm proud of him, and I shouldn't be, right? So, you know, I'm a person that is very fortunate to not have succumbed to that culture, because I was all in it. Not happy about it, but it is what it is. I do have perspective though, so it's bad. Look, there was a time that I remember kept going to jail, and every time I would go at this particular time, I'm like, man, fuck Jeezy, fuck Pac. Because in my head, they was like glorifying the shit that got me there. Mm. You know what I mean? I was really saying that shit, right? So, you know, it is an influence, and what we put into our subconscious mind matters, you know? Yes. So I'm with that fucking energy, but we got to change the subject matter, you know? We're deeming this now as a group of us, we're going to be trying to get it out there like that's anti-black, you know? And anything anti-black we're not supporting, and we're going to talk about it, we're going to attack it, because it's been anti-black things have been promoted and throttled. It's so we get hyped up to hear, kill this nigga. Like, nah, bro. Do what? We should be ashamed for that shit to be coming through the airwaves, and we should be shutting that shit down. Remember Dolores Tucker? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to go back and look more into that. I was young back then. Mm-hmm. I remember like, fuck that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, you know, you can't deny truth. You know what I mean?
But
and the truth is,
with the music aspect of things, like I said, it comes back to time and place and the daily ritual. Are we waking up and listening to the drill music? Because that's not good to me. We need to wake up and we need to be listening to Beethoven. Mm-hmm. We need to be listening to Bach and Vivaldi and, you know, Mozart. You know, even the lo-fi stuff is pretty cool sometimes. House music, jazz. These things activate parts of the brain that rap music isn't, right? And there's something to be said about the percussion in hip hop, which feeds the body in different ways. But we're talking about activating and stimulating neurological activity. It comes back to hitting them ivories, hitting them strings, hitting the leather of the animal on that drum, right? So we have these, or the wood, the wind instruments, right? All these things are very natural things, and we need to be influenced by them. But when? What if our people woke up in the morning and they listen to Miles Davis? He has this one wonderful album called Sketches of Spain. And I used to play it nonstop. I can't play it anymore because I just wore it out. But Dr. Kaba Kamene is the one who led me to that piece of material and said, this is what that time period sounded like, ancient Kemet and the Moorish Empire. So you can listen to the music, close your eyes, and be projected to a different time. A time where it's not this rah, 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 violence, da, 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 da. It's more higher intellect. It starts speaking to your genome and the ancestors and all of that. You know what I mean? So again, it comes back to, what is your ritual? What is the first thing you put in your mind? I used to date this one girl who is very successful. And every morning she would get up and she'd play like these motivational speeches by different people. Every single morning, 6 a.m., we'd be on FaceTime and she's always playing motivational speeches. And I thought that to be so profound, because the first thing she wants to do is get in her mind positivity, growth, success, right? What if, so again, when you ask her, does she have an issue with Black identity? No, I found myself. I found myself through the profundity of positivity.
What's your routine in the morning?
My routine's trash.
What is it?
Whatever I feel like doing.
There's no set ritual.
I really don't have a set ritual. And it's because I came from, to reach where I was, I had to have a set ritual to no longer need a set ritual. For me, my ritual was disturbed because I have a baby. She's 2. You ain't got no ritual when you got a 2-year-old. She dictate what your ritual is, right? Yeah. So I'm kind of like on her time, right? But outside of that, like I said before, where I'm led by intuition, I let my intuition lead me as to what it is I need to be doing at that moment. So I don't have a ritual. Again, also because I take a lot of herbs in the morning, okay? So that's part of my ritual, my herbal treatment. That automatically sets me in a good mood, because I'm detoxifying my enteric nervous system. I'm detoxifying my mind. And it just sets me in a good mood. It's activating my GABA receptors and getting the neurons firing and supporting the growth of dendrites. So there's a lot of things that I'm doing physically that are just helping me, period. Right. Just by popping a couple of pills in the morning, I'm kind of just good, because when health is wealth. You have a supplement brand. If people are taking your supplements, they'll see transformations in their life. That's a huge part of it, right? Like when we think about life, before we extend to the ether, what is it you're doing in the physical? So we first have to start with the body. What'd you put in your body? Did you drink your 8 ounces of water or whatever it is you got to have in the morning? Okay, so that's the body. Once we go to the body, we now have to go to the mind, right? So when I listen to music right now, I got a lo-fi music playlist on YouTube. It's called
lo-fi music.
Yeah, it's a lo-fi music, but it's
beats, study, lo-fi study.
Yes, it's for work concentration. Yeah. Oh, it's called Limitless.
Okay.
It's called Limitless. That's the name of this one.
It's a great word.
Yeah.
That's a great spell.
Yeah.
You feel me? Yeah.
So I when I get in my flow when I'm working, I throw that playlist on. So that's but I play chess. So at some point in my day, I'm going to be stretching the boundaries of my mind. I'm going to be encouraging neuroplasticity. At some point in the day, I'm going to be reading. Also, I think it's very important to manage your friends and your network and eliminate, or suspend is probably a better word. Suspend the relationships that are not conducive to growth, and reintroduce them at a time where you can lift them up and you can actually help them. But suspend those relationships and invest that time in people who are going to nourish your growth. So a large part of cultivating my mind is conferencing with, like Taylor. He's always texting me encouraging things. Like he has this one story which I gotta share because it was just amazing. He said a father is on a farm and the horse gets away, right? And they said, oh man, it's what bad luck that the horse got away. And I'm probably messing this up. He's like, oh, maybe so, right? Then the horse comes back and he injures the son. I said, oh, how unfortunate. He injured your son. He said, yeah, maybe so. Then the army comes and they go to draft the son, but the son is injured. And they say, oh, what bad luck. Or they'll say, what good luck. Your son didn't get drafted because he got injured, right? So it's like things in life are gonna happen and you sort of have to go with it, but everything is happening on time and for a reason, especially when you're in the flow, especially when you're, for example, we learned this as a kid. Roll, roll, roll your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. What's the lesson to be learned from that nursery rhyme? Roll, roll, roll your boat. What a lot of people stop doing is rowing their boat. You see, life is a dream when you're rowing your boat.
Right.
When you stop rowing your boat, life's a nightmare.
100%. Well, if you look into like the practical and physiological components of electromagnetic energy, right?
Yeah.
In the body, and our cells, every one of our cells have electric magnetic fields around it. The more powerful our cells are vibrating, the more powerful our electric magnetic energy is.
Yeah.
So our power of attraction is greater.
Yes.
And our power of repulsion is greater. Attraction is things that we desire, that we want, and what we need. Repulsion is shit that ain't good for us. And I know, I understand how one can vibrate on a higher frequency. And I know that sounds woo-woo, but it's a very normal thing to do.
It's very scientific.
Right.
and meditation and exercising and fasting and reading.
But you can measure someone's frequency.
And all of these things make you vibrate. You're rowing your boat, you're vibrating on your cells are vibrating. So your attraction and repulsion is greater. You're here today, Friday. I've had 3 interviews this week. All 3 is people I really want to fucking talk to. You know what I'm saying? Awesome talks. Consciousness expanding. You feel me? And it's always like that. Like, this is literally my life.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have, personally speaking, I don't have bad people trying to enter the space.
Right.
And when I do, I had one a few months ago. It was so obvious and it was funny to toy with them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that power of attraction and repulsion is intensified and magnified when we're rowing our boat, when our cells are vibrating at a rapid pace. And I try to keep it like that personally. Yeah. The one thing that does mess it up though, at times is I'm so aware of my being. Sometimes I'll stay up too late studying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I have a thing. I tell my friend, like, yo, stay on the phone with me because I'll fall asleep. But they can't hang. And I'm like, fuck. One night I stayed up until 5 a.m. reading about pi, the equation, and circling a square. You feel me? So it's like, that's the only thing, because then I'm tired. I'm not functioning properly the next day. So, but for the most part, I try to get to bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I'm up 5. See what brings me out of that transition state from that sleep to waking up. I put on a audiobook. Now, I don't like audiobooks too much. I'd rather read it. I'll read it on my phone, but I just still want to read it.
Yeah.
I grasp it more easier. Yeah. But I'll put that on, you know, to help wake me up. And if subconsciously it gets in there, great. I don't know if it does or not, but that's my wake up. You feel me? So before I start everything, that's my process. But look, rituals and routines are so wonderful if you can fall into it. The side effect is it makes you disciplined.
Yes.
You know, and everyone can benefit from living a disciplined life. Living a disciplined life makes you more interesting and compelling to others who aren't, right? You can teach people how to be disciplined just by being disciplined. If they're not, they're gonna like, damn, he didn't go here with us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, but I
got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
It comes in leadership, male versus female. You hear some people say men are the leader and women shouldn't lead.
Should not lead?
Yeah. Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
I guess it comes, I don't think women should not lead, but if a man in that situation is not capable of leading, she has to lead. But women motivate me, right? I could take it back to college. Shout out to Tiffany Muhammad. That's a dear friend of mine. We used to like each other back in the day. And she was in law school. I was not. But I would study every day when we was gonna talk. So I have more things to talk about with her. I didn't even realize I was preparing myself to be a good leader, you know? So if you have a woman, you're trying, like I tell guys all the time, these young guys, like, yo, don't date, bro. Stay with, they're gonna destroy your heart because you ain't ready and you don't deserve it. Ready yourself up, qualify yourself. So I do think that it is more in the natural flow of things for a man to lead, right? But if a woman has to step up and lead, it is what it is. You better respect it or get out the way. But I'm really never in a situation like that, you know? My mother said this is crazy. She didn't tell it to me, I heard her telling somebody doing this documentary, I'm ear hustling. She said, I was always intimidated by him because when he was a little boy, he was like the man of the house.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm terrified of my mother to this day.
Yeah.
But for her to say that was interesting, you know? So, but listen, women, because I'm saying this, it's not to say that women are not capable. They clearly are. And, you know, we have DNA. We have the information from our parents. My mother's side is heavy in me. Heavy. You feel me? So if I didn't have my mother's shit in me, I don't know what I'd be. My mother makes me powerful.
Yeah.
Women. That's why I'm saying women are so powerful.
Right.
You know, women are intimidating. They intimidate me still. I don't show it, but they're intimidating, and they hold power. They are the vessel to life.
Yeah.
You feel me? That's why, like, lately a lot I've been trying to go hard and double down in my content about, like, this culture of people just having sex to have sex.
Yeah.
Is corrupting the culture, is making sex not special, not sacred, and women are sacred, and women, they're relinquishing their power. They're getting treated like shit. I'm like, yo, you did what? You let him do what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like they have to, but see, it starts from the father relationship with the daughter. You know what I mean? And protecting her and giving her a certain standard on how a man should conduct himself and how she should be treated. You know, my daughter will be under my two daughters will be under my protection until I hand them off to their husband, whom in which I will vet out, and his family, and then we're all gonna be a family. I'm gonna still be right there. You know what I mean? So that's how it should be. And these fellas, like, stop doing this shit to these girls. Oh, that bitch crazy. Nah, nigga, you made her crazy. You feel me? So, yeah.
Let's break that down.
Go for it.
I'm a big fan of arranged marriage.
So am I. Like, literally, I just had a conversation with my son about that.
Yeah, and I don't mean specifically like picking the girl out. What I'm saying is putting your son or daughter in the environment of the type of men she should be dating. For example, you see this in many cultures where I know 10 families, I know their socioeconomic status, I know their culture, I know how they think, ideology, etc. So we'll throw the boys and girls of prom, let them mingle. And it's not an arranged marriage, but I did specifically pick out the boys that my daughter could be around.
It's a democracy.
Right.
Like our democracy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because otherwise what happens is we take our daughters and we're sending them out in the world and saying, you gotta pick. And when we look at antiquity, that's not how it was done. And you know, when I think about my daughter, I'm gonna select her husband.
Same,
right? Like, and I love that you said that, because when I run into a young man who I feel should be, I'm gonna say, yo, I want to introduce you to my daughter. Because I can't, it's not that I can't trust my daughter to pick someone. I can't trust her intellect over my wisdom. Because wisdom and experience is always gonna trump theoretical knowledge.
100%. So when I told my son, I'm gonna pick your wife, he's like, okay, whatever. I said, hold up. You don't think I know what a hot girl? I went from the bottom one up. You don't think I know I could pick a hot girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. You don't think I love you? You don't think I will have you in the best possible situation? Do you think you know better than me? You know what I'm saying? How to navigate out in these cold streets?
Yeah.
When I broke it all down, he was like, I get it. Like, you're right, you know? And even with him, I wish for him not to leave the house until he's gonna get married. Like, for what? Why go out there, get a job, an entry-level job, because you're young, paying bills, you're utilizing so much energy, you don't care about this company.
Right.
You're not making meaningful money. You can't even save it. All to pay bills, right? And then you're experiencing all these different women, bad experiences, might get somebody pregnant. You know, it's too many variables that I'm gonna protect my son from. And you stay home, son. It is what it is. Save your money. Whatever you need. This is my policy in my house for everyone in my house.
Yeah.
Don't spend your money. Let me know you need something, I got you.
Right.
Save your money.
Yeah.
So this is my life's. This is.
Are you familiar with the Jack and Jill?
What is that?
So, I know very little about this other than what one of my ex-girlfriends introduced me to. But apparently, the black upper middle class or black middle class has this like Jack and Jill association or program where the boys and girls do have this thing where they get to intermingle, but they're both from the same socioeconomic status, ideology, and culture. So this does exist within black culture. It exists within a certain socioeconomic base. So we do have that as a people, I just think it should be spread more and talked about more. And I think it's more of a down south thing. I'm sure it's probably a little bit up north, but her family's from Louisiana, Southern University specifically.
That makes sense. There's way more black people down there.
Yeah. So they have these little groups where, okay, you know, it's Jack and Jill, but you know, all the Jacks hang out with all the Jills, but you know, this is coming from a 2-family household. You know, they're well brought up. They're well cultured. You don't have to worry about her dating some dude who's selling crack. You know what I mean? That type of situation. I do want to come back to the leadership question.
Okay.
And I think this is where everybody goes wrong, especially the masculinity space where they say men should lead, men should lead. And what I find is that it has no balance. Leadership requires 2 traits or 2 aspects. One portion magic, one portion intellectual. I believe that the leadership role needs some sort of intuitive force. You ever see the statue in Senegal? You'll pull it up in edit.
Oh, the guy, the big warrior looking,
and then the wife and the baby.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you look at this, the
what is it called? You know what it's called?
I forget the name. Look it up. I forget what it's called. It's been a while since I studied this, but when you study it, you have to look at their eyes. Okay. Now tell me when you look it up, who's pointing out to the sea?
African Renaissance Monument. B-roll, baby, right here.
The African Renaissance Monument in Senegal. Standing at 52 meters tall, it is located on top of one of the twin hills known as Collines des Mamelles, outside Dakar, Senegal. The statue is that of a man, woman, and a child and acts as a symbol of defiance and future prosperity.
Who's pointing out to the sea?
The baby.
The baby, okay?
That's a hell of a... Wow.
Okay, so the baby's pointing out to the sea, right? So the baby is saying, this is where we're going, or look out there, right? So this is the future. Let's just say the baby is looking into the future, right? The father is looking to where the baby is, scoping things out. Where's the woman's eyes pointed if you look at that statue?
I guess in the direction the baby's pointing, or she's somewhere in that direction.
She's looking up.
Yeah.
She's looking up into the sky. So while the baby's pointing and the father's looking in the direction, the mother's eyes are casted up. She's looking toward the ether, the God, the universe, etc., the skies. This is something that these people, whoever created that, knew something very esoteric. So when we think about leadership, women are bringing about the spiritual essence of leadership, and men are bringing about the practical essence of leadership. For example, a woman's gonna say, we should go out to eat tonight. But she ain't gonna be able to pick the restaurant to save her life. And even if she does pick the restaurant, she ain't gonna be able to pick a meal. She's gonna need 30 minutes or your help. So when I think about leadership, what I believe it is women are guiding us in the right direction. And the nuance is us as decision makers. We make the final decision. So it's a symbiotic relationship. Also, when we think about supremacy in the human being species, I look at woman as being the supreme of our species based upon biology alone. Everybody knows every human being starts out
as female
first. So this says a lot about us as human beings. So when people try to reduce women and say, you know, they have no role in leadership, my answer is no, you don't know their role in leadership. And sometimes we're giving them too much. They have to guide, be the spiritual essence, and make the decision. And that's what you were talking about, where it's just like, damn, why y'all putting all that on her plate? We can't have that. It has to be, you know, that balance between the two. And I think that's what people leave out, is that balance. If we look at, for example, one of the greatest colonists of all time, can you take a guess who you think, white specifically?
Colonist.
Colonist, greatest of all time.
Colonist, not murderer. I would assume Columbus. Well, no, he's
Go back further.
Okay, not Leopold. He's a murderer.
Before him, Lee is a murderer. He's definitely a murderer.
We gotta talk about that. I don't know.
Conqueror.
Yeah, who?
Alexander the Great.
Okay.
Many people don't know about the story of Alexander the Great. Is he was led by his mama. His mama was calling the shots. Caligula, even though he was a poor leader, sisters was calling the shots. When you look at a lot of these great leaders, you always see black women around them.
And I'm gonna tell you, I got a little more flavor for that, color for that. I be in spaces sometimes where guys is kind of like putting women down, and I'm like, dang, it's crazy. I will fuck y'all up. And I got all my strength and my energy from my mother and my sister. My sister and me used to fight all the time, and she fucked me up every time. I never beat my sister. She was just, you know, girls were bigger than us at a certain age.
Yeah.
And it was substantial, like the power.
Yes.
She, you know, turn it over. You get that bass in my chest when she hit me. Like, oof. Yeah. I would try my hardest. I couldn't fuck with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, women is everything, bro. I don't get the vitriol, and I don't get the.
They've been conquered. That's where it comes from. When men have this vitriol towards women, it's because women have conquered them at some point in their life.
Explain that. What do you mean conquer them?
They won the battle. They won. You know, they took a L. You know, a woman broke their heart, dominated the relationship.
My heart broke. I don't feel like that about women.
Well, not everybody responds to trauma the same.
Yeah.
Some people respond to trauma. They learn. They grow. They become better. Others, I've had my heart broken by women.
Did you cry?
Yes.
Hard?
Hard.
Snot?
Oh, Lord.
Pathetic type shit?
Oh.
I've been there.
Oh,
I was mad
man.
young. I should have been in, like, what can you do with this woman? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. Like, yo, you seen High Fidelity?
Nah, what's that?
Please. It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
John Cusack, and it's like he's college dude. He falls in love with this girl that's a little out of his league.
Okay.
He just follows her around. He's just admiring her, and she's so cool. And she fucks him over. Like she fucks another dude, and he's like calling her from the window, and she comes with like her sheet covering her tits. Then the dude come behind her like come on, let's go back down. He's like, fuck you, bitch. I fucking hate you. Like the shit that happens to every man at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So many in comments, nigga, that shit ain't ever happened to me. Word, son. All right. Everybody's saying it ain't happened to me.
No.
Right now, they're saying it right now. They're typing it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
You ain't lived long enough.
Cool.
Or you haven't had that many women.
Or any women.
Or any.
Yo, there's a statistic that's kind of alarming. Like, there's a part of the reason why a lot of guys hate women is because a lot of guys don't have sex when they're undesired. And I didn't know how bad it was, but it's a thing. Like,
it's worse now than ever.
Yeah, and out of all of the available women and available men, only 20% of those available men they have access to women or sex.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
20%.
I don't know what that's like.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because I didn't grow up in an age where women had Instagram and they could, genetically choose who they wanted to date, and had so much influx of inbound, right?
Yeah.
I grew up in a time where you hung out at the mall and you walked up to a girl, you asked her for the number, and you called her. You couldn't even text her. You had to call her.
Yeah.
And her daddy might pick up.
Yeah, and you don't say nothing like...
Yeah, it's awkward.
Right.
You're a kid in high school, and her daddy picked up, and you like, what do I even say?
Weird shit happened with somebody's dad?
Yeah.
What happened with yours?
I was it was a Muslim girl. Her name was Amira, and she had the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen. And we met at like some little kiddie party or whatever, and
a kitty party?
Yeah, we know we're all kids.
How
we're
old
like
you?
14 or something like that. I'm like 14 years old. She's 14 years old.
14.
And I got her number. And I called her.
Yeah.
And her dad picked up and said, don't call here ever again. I was so heartbroken. I said, but I love her.
Did you say that?
No, that's what I was thinking. You know, because there's different types of women we meet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we meet women who you can just tell are good girls, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes there are other girls, they're a little bit faster, right? And, you know, we like them too, right? Because we get pleasure quicker.
Yeah.
But we also have this high regard for women who aren't like that, who are just really good girls. And she was one of those good girls I could just tell, who I could really bond at the heart level with. And I always desired that.
Yeah.
And with her, I saw that. I got another girl, her name was Diehi. And she,
Dope name.
yeah, she's African. And
What part of Africa?
I want to say West Africa.
Okay.
And this was high school, and I was at my homeboy's pool party, and she was in love with me, absolutely in love with me. But, you know, she hadn't developed yet. She was, you know, probably 2 years younger. I was 16. She was like 14. And I was like, holla at me when you become a woman. You know what I mean?
Boy.
Yeah, it looked like a little boy.
Right.
Well, no, she looked like a girl, but she just had
The body of a boy. Yeah.
Right, she had a body of a little girl, you know? I was like, holla at me, you know, I played. Boy, she done grew up. And you know how African women look.
Oh, man.
Boom, bam, bow. And I'm like, so then she had grew up. And then I went to go step to her.
You know, and she wanted men.
She was like, no, at that point, she was like, no, you had your chance.
Yeah.
And it just peeled off.
But
I
here's
was
the
so
thing.
heartbroken.
If I go to the gym that I go to at a certain time of day, the high school kids are there, right?
Okay.
I'm like, bro, little fella, you about to get your heart
Destroyed.
because they look like little boys and them girls like women.
Yeah.
I'm like, they have no idea. These girls don't even know their power yet. Once these adult or older boys start seeing them,
Yeah.
it's a wrap. Dudes with cars and shit, it's a wrap. Or dudes out of high school, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, they didn't look at us. It was the dudes out of high school with cars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is a funny story. I was an adult already, but I was young, like 22. And I've always been very immature with like my sense of humor. And this was Orisha, which is a West African name. I was in love with this girl, bro. We was hanging out. So I never met her family. So one time I picked her up for a date, and I went in, and the dad, he sits me down, and he was like, you know what? Anything you do to my daughter, I'm gonna do to you. Bro.
He gave one of them talks.
It took everything in my, every fiber in my being to not laugh at this man. I was like, bro, you a nerd. Like, I will beat your ass, for one. And for two, you want to squeeze my tits? Like, you want to squeeze my tits? That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm going to kiss on her neck. You ever do that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that shit was hilarious. But nah, it's, bro, those days of me being a young man and, like, courtship, it wasn't really there. Like I always had girls, right? But I knew damn well, what can I do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was a very realistic person back then, especially in my early 20s. I'm just like, yo, I was always an ambitious person, and a very practical person with that. And I remember Minister Farrakhan talking about, yo, Lee, if you can't take care of a woman, don't even waste her time.
Right.
So that's always been in the back of my mind. So that's just the way that's how I grew up. Like, that's what I'm supposed to take care of a woman. You know what I'm saying? So there was plenty of women out of my league at the time. You know what I mean? And I had to like, it is what it is. And then it's funny because I've been so far for so long. I've been making a lot of money for a long time. Just no bragging, but just reality. So, but I remember at a time when I first started making good money, and then women that I was like, fuck, I'm intimidated by her. They were like easy work, or like I was not interested no more, and onto, you know, women on a different level. So it's just so interesting how your perspective on things change when your reality changes.
Yeah.
Nothing else has changed, and usually nobody else changes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is really interesting, but that's just how life is.
Yeah.
So.
But this Instagram era is different, though.
I think it's all the same, bro.
I don't know.
I think everything is always the same. Everything looks different. Because like there's people that would say, I remember they were saying like, yeah, all these fucking people, if there wasn't no Instagram, what would you be doing? I like balling. The cream always rises regardless of the medium.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not, because you sit around and complain about people that's doing well.
Well, there's some truth to that, right? Because in many ways, Instagram is filtering out the women you probably shouldn't be dating.
Yeah, for sure. Right, fact. Yeah.
You know, if you have to compete with other men based upon all these other parameters that you know really don't matter, you basically getting rid of the girls that are superficial. So, you know, to that extent, I have to agree with you.
Yeah, it's easy work. I love where we're at right now. You know what I mean? Somebody asked me if you could go, I think they said 100 years in the future or the past, where would you go? And it was like, I go in the past. I'm like, yeah, racism. I'll go to the future, baby. Like, first of all, I like air conditioning, for one.
Yeah.
Cars.
There's no point in the past you would go to?
I will go and check it out. Yeah, there's a lot of places in the past I would go to.
Yeah.
100 years? Nah, I wouldn't. Not 100 years, bro.
Yeah.
Give me 10,000 years.
You know, my problem with going backwards is I'm gonna need some air conditioning.
I just said that. I said I like air conditioner and I like cars.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's what people don't realize. That's why I like certain movies that took place in a certain period of time, and they did a good job of like really displaying that time period. One in particular was it was the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, and his son was a native, little Indian boy. You know what I'm talking about? You know the movie? Bro, the shit that he went through. Oh my God, like,
yeah,
it was just rough fucking, he got attacked by a bear, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, The Revenant, yeah, that's a fucking excellent. Yeah. If you got a son,
saw that one.
If you got a son, it's hard to watch though.
Okay.
But it's a good movie. It's that good of a movie, you know what I mean? That man he God MC, him and Denzel God MCs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On some acting shit.
Yeah. I mean, I if I had to choose, I think I would agree with you. I'd probably go into the future.
Yeah. I'm so fascinated about, because, you know, if we just sit here right now and speculate what, like, if we wrote out like 10 things the future would be like in 100 years, we'll be off by a lot, because technology advances at an exponential rate every year. So, and we're not in those laboratories with those, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would love to see what's to be. Okay, question for you. We were talking about this earlier about mind uploading and all of that shit. Let's say mind uploading is uploading your consciousness, right? Now, at that point, once we can do that, there would be no reason for people to be born anymore. Yeah. Because there's no reason to die, right? Yeah. Maybe unless you want to, you like ready. But, you know, you can go into an avatar of another body on another planet by email or whatever the fuck. Would you want that life?
So I have two answers to that.
Okay.
Fear wants me to say, give me that option, because I don't want to die. Wisdom is telling me life needs to end. Life in this realm needs to end in order to ascend. I need to go and revisit the oversoul. To try and perpetuate or to exist in this plane beyond natural order is probably detrimental to the destiny of my soul.
So let's talk about the natural order. Is that not the natural order? Hear me out. Now, when we were primitive humans, right, there was a piece of technology or innovation, for that matter, it was technology back then, that allowed us to evolve to a higher human, from a monkey humanoid type dude, right? It was that fire. So that was something that we used for an advantage. We might not have known the benefits of it, unlocking nutrients in meat and all the other things that it did to give us this robust cerebral cortex to separate us from our animal homies, but it did, right? And we learned so much since then. Now, our brains and our intellect and these things is natural, right? And the things that we manifest from our thoughts is natural. It's a manifestation of our thoughts, but they're also natural. This is natural, right? These are elements from the earth that we put together. We're the alchemists. and we create these things to give us voice projection, you know, put our images across the world, whatever. To me, this is all natural, and it's all the natural order of human existence. And the more I sit in thought, and you know, I've been on an odyssey with mathematics lately, you know, relearning algebra, geometry, oh my God, like, and the constants that exist throughout the universe with these math equations, it really makes me uncomfortable in a cool way. Like, we're on to something, figuring out that we created the universe at some point. So, and when I say constant and equations, it's all about predicting these things, right? And creating models with predictions, right? In the universe, it finds efficient ways of doing things. And I'm looking at this table, perfect. It finds an efficient way of doing things, right? And it duplicates it everywhere. This is a fingerprint for a tree, just like a fingerprint on our hand. And that's the law of, I forget the term, but that's a constant everywhere in the universe. Now, for us to...
Come on, like, Fibonacci sequence?
That's just one sequence of many.
Many, yeah.
Yeah, but for us, would you say visiting the other soul or whatever you said? I mean, who's to say shutting down our beings, this biological being, is that? We are imagining these things here, right? We can't imagine anything for the afterlife, nothing, right? What's written in the Bible is obvious what they meant, not like dying and go. It's your decisions. You know, your decisions is your destiny, and that will articulate whether you're in heaven or hell right here. I mean, they gave you literal, physical, tangible breakdowns like pearly gates and golden floors. It's like, it's right here on earth. So from my, like, as I sit and ponder, that is it. This is it. Like, once we unlock, we have a freedom from this biological body, and this is free, this consciousness, and, you know, we're gonna go, and I feel like we're gonna populate the solar system, galaxy, and universe, you know, and aliens will be just our creations, you know, and it's gonna be mechanical structures that we'll place all over the galaxy. And I had this notion about the speed of thought, right? I wrote a story for the NFT project, and these people are like gods, but they could travel at the speed of thought. I never really reconciled what that meant. It just sounded cool at the time. Yeah. But it was like a piece of quantum, it was a quantum entanglement download that I received. And then later on, I was like, oh, we will have machines building other machines on other planets, and then we can fucking get there by email our consciousness to that place or this place. So that's the reconciliation of traveling at speed of thought. So that's going to be an addition to physics. They got to write that book, but that I came up with that shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, but nah, I see, of course I could be wrong, but it makes sense for that to be the evolution of mankind. Look, we're already doing incredible things like smart prosthetics that you move with your brain and that you would actually have feeling. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So we cannot travel any meaningful distance in this fucking solar system. Fuck galaxy, solar system, right? We can't be exposed to, if we were in our spacesuits on Mars, we still die of cancer fast, right? Because there's no atmosphere and it'll be a wrap. So it's not even happening like that. So, and then you can put AI out there and machines, but they don't have the intellectual dexterity that we have. They're all our programming. So we need this in association with the machines to keep this shit going. Cause look, we're gonna be extinct at some point. You know what I'm saying? If we don't change the biological natural order, because if we hadn't evolved from our initial biological natural order, we'd be monkey people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That shit would be wild.
Well, I agree. However, I don't see fire as technology. Okay? Fire is It's one of the 4 natural elements.
Everything is of natural elements. Now, this is not a natural way for fire to be articulated. We created a candle with a wick, right? So that's the thing. Fire been around, but some lucky monkey man, I don't know if there was a monkey man, fucked around and like, oh shit, I made it. Look, and we could put it on here.
Yeah, he figured out how to instigate it.
Right. So, yeah, it is a natural. That's what I'm saying. Everything is a natural element. You know what I mean? Even the computers that we use, they have the same elements as in our body.
Chemical plastic included?
Nah, well, not the plastic, not the but we don't need those parts. But we need the quartz, we need the zinc, we need the minerals, right? And those minerals are in our body as well. So it's just a different casing, but the innards are the same.
When I think about living forever, I think about this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to transport my consciousness to the future. Just play it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Just put it on a USB drive, pop it up on the screen, and I exist forever. Look at my sons. Look at my son's sons. That's how I'm going to exist forever.
True.
I'm not concerned with, and I don't want to even try and transport my consciousness to another body. You ever watch Altered Carbon? You got to watch that. You would love that.
I watched it, but yeah, that's a good movie. I have watched
where
it.
they like swapping sleeves and you know, if your chip gets damaged, now you're really dead. And they're just, you know, importing your consciousness to the chip. So I love that series, that Netflix series. I thought it was quite fascinating. But I don't want to do that. You know, when my time is up. Also, you know, by extending your expiration date, do you accelerate your ambitions?
Here's the thing, those would change. Now, let's talk about expiration date. We're doing that constantly. You know, us exercising is extending our expiration date because that's not normal. It's weird. It's strange, right? You don't see lions jogging.
But that is an ambition. To exercise is an ambition to extend your life unartificially, naturally.
What's artificial though?
To try and map out your consciousness and transport it to the future.
Why do we have the ability to think on those levels to do that? Is that thought not natural?
We think we have the ability to do that.
No, we do. We've mapped out. Now there's a worm that has a nervous system, a stomach, and it has sex, like everything that we have, right? And they've mapped out pretty much that whole genome of that worm, right? And they can figure out every thought, but they can't figure out where the thoughts come from. You know what I mean? This is that we're starting to peek into that 5th dimension, right? But they can do these things. Now, doing it on a human, they're working on that too, but it's just, we got a lot more neurons than a worm, right? But
what is the ambition there?
I think
it seems lazy.
Nah, that doesn't seem lazy at all to me.
It seems very lazy.
It's a lot of work.
For example,
what do you mean lazy? Maybe I don't understand what you're saying.
When I put an expiration date on a task, I tell my team, hey, look, here's the deadline for this task. As opposed to saying, here's a task that has no deadline. Where could we expect our team to rise?
It's not the same.
To their best.
It's not the same though. Okay, with your life,
it has an expiration date.
When's your expiration date?
I don't know my expiration date. I don't want to know my expiration date.
Okay, well, your team, you have a set task, and you set an expiration date. You know it. It's finite.
But the fact that I don't know my expiration date, but I know I have one, is what accelerates my ambitions.
I'm with that.
Because I don't know if it's tomorrow.
Listen.
So I'm like, yo, I got to make sure when I wake up, I go 100 miles an hour. In our circle, we call it the grift, right? It's like, and you know, like I was on my Monday show and I said, yeah, tomorrow I'm taking off.
Yeah.
And then something hit. And I when I say take off, really what I mean is not show up on YouTube. I'm not taking the day off. I'm still working on things. Yeah. I just mean I'm not going to show up on YouTube or some other facet. Right. But then something hits and it's like, to the grift cave. And I have to seize the moment. Yesterday, what was the big story that hit that I had to do the Twitter Spaces on? Who? Jordan Peterson. Not Jordan Peterson. The Ukraine. The Brittany Griner got released from prison, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to be on Twitter Spaces that day, but I had to seize the moment. The fact that I don't know my expiration date means that these time increments must be moments that I can seize. Now, if somebody came to me and said, hey, listen, I have a special technology that is going to make sure you can live forever, would I be the same person?
You would for about 20 years. Then things would get weird. But here's the thing. This is what I'm talking about. First of all, we don't have the ability to live forever. So we always have that ambition. And because I live my life predicated on the fact that I'm going to die. I'm trying to curate the perfect scenario for my funeral. Everybody say the right shit, whatever, right? So that's that. Now, as far as, let's say when we're to a point to where technology is that advanced, this is not going to be no time soon to where that technology does exist, right? And people do upload into the cloud. It's going to be iterations of it, right? But when this is normal and this is it, this is the last of civilization, no more people need to be born, et cetera, the motivations are going to be completely different. What is it? I don't know. Because if you take us back, you look at a chimpanzee. A chimpanzee there's a sanctuary in Japan, it's a chimp sanctuary. When you just study them, they love these chimps or whatever, but they got these tests that they could do. They're next to a human. And it's like a visual test. They'll put like 1, 2, 3 like numbers in order. No, not numbers. Is it numbers or shape? Whatever it is, they'll play like circle, square, triangle, and blah, 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 blah. You get a snack. They keep making it more and more difficult. The monkey keeps doing it an infinite amount of times. Boom. The human can hang like 2 or 3 times and it's a wrap. Why? The monkey's ability to remember things, that's very important to him because he doesn't have language and he can't write. So it's very important to him to remember that shit. You know what I'm saying? The person is not. We can take a screenshot. Like that's the fact that we have phones have changed our brain, right? We don't remember phone numbers. There's no reason to. It's inefficient. It's an inefficient use of our brain's resources, right? So we on to something else, higher things. And that's going to be the same.
Yeah, it's certain phone numbers I don't store on my phone.
Oh, oh, that's dope. I fuck with that.
Yeah, important people.
Yeah, I fuck with that.
Like for example, when I got arrested a couple of times, and they took my phone. Now I got that number memorized. Same. I know who to call when I need to get bailed.
That's real shit. That's real shit. That's real shit. But I'm just saying, you used to remember.
But you're right though. But you're right though.
Everybody number. You knew how to get anywhere. I
memorized everybody number.
Nobody pull out maps.
No.
You get there.
Remember MapQuest?
Yeah, you get there, you get directions maybe twice, and then you got it after that. It was a sense of urgency to remember that. Now it's not.
Yeah.
Bro, I've been here for 2 years, 3 years. I still Google like GPS to go certain places.
Yeah.
It's silly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Back in the day, we get from, 15-minute ride. We knew all the different ways to get there. Yeah. Now it's like 15 minutes. You're like, wait.
It's not important though.
Wait, is it right here?
And I know a lot of people are romantic to old school things. And to me, writing is not important anymore. It's not. I never write. When I write, it's weird. It's like, dang,
really?
Do I do it like this? You know what I'm saying? Because I type everything. You know what I mean? So
I have a notebook.
Yeah.
I write.
I always buy them, but I never, because look, when I write, it hurts. Because my hand ain't used to it no more. So,
yeah.
And it takes a longer
I
time.
have 2 notebooks.
It takes so long for me to write, bro. I just
It is slower.
I could type it without looking. I could be go ahead, and I know where everything's at. You know what I mean?
It is slower.
So, and my thing is efficiency. Like I have very few books now because I can have them all on my phone. It takes no space. I still read them, but it's just like, yo, it's a lot of shit. You know what I mean? My book cabinet at home is still full, but y'all could take these here.
I got 2 notebooks.
Yeah.
One of them's called the white book. And the other one's called the black book. And in the white book,
Got the white homies.
Goes white history. And in the black book goes African history.
Okay.
And I write. I bought.
That's interesting. You said white history and African history.
Yeah.
Not black history or European history.
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's technically European history and African history.
Okay.
I think we have bad habits of calling it white and black history.
Okay.
I'm a victim of using those bad habits.
Is that bad though? What's the?
It's inaccurate.
White and black.
Yeah, it's inaccurate. It's technically European history and African history. Is probably more accurate.
What if you're talking about some white people that's not from Europe?
White
or
people,
blacks that's not from Africa.
I hate that.
What?
I feel bad for white folks.
What are you talking about?
Sometimes you get, like, I had a dude today tweet me and he said, I have Irish and English ancestry. He said he had Irish, Italian ancestry and something else, but I don't identify with it. And I looked at the tweet and I looked at the tweet and I looked at the tweet and I'm like, this dude doesn't even see the contradiction in his statement. Because if he didn't identify with it, he wouldn't have said Italian.
Right.
You do identify with it because you just said you is what you is. If you didn't, you would have said, I'm an American and I don't even remember what European ancestry I come from. And I think it's very important for white folks to connect with their European ancestry. Why? Mostly because communism wants homogeneity. Communism wants you to just forget the past. They want one mind so they can infect it with whatever agenda or propaganda they have. But when white folks separate themselves into Croatian and German, now you can't intercept that mind so well because the Germans eat some way and they think one way. Italians eat some way and they think another way. Cultures are very important, and the various cultures are very important to people.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm not mad at that perspective. I'm gonna sit on that a little bit longer, but where I float around is I'm American, me personally, right? I don't call myself a black American. I'm clearly black.
Yeah.
I call myself black. I think black is fly. Black is the absorption of all color. All things originate.
Specifically light.
Huh?
Specifically
light. All light.
Yeah.
And all things come from the void, from black, right?
Yeah.
Like once
light is born from darkness.
These lights go out, we're back in darkness.
Yeah.
So I'm comfortable in that, right? Our universe is black.
Right.
Our star will die.
Yeah.
The black doesn't. So I'm with that. I'm with black.
Yeah.
But then when we speak of like, you know, lineage or history, for me is American. Why? Because, you know, I've traced genealogy or our ancestry on one side. My father's side is hard because they're from the islands, but my mother's side is very easy. I've now I gotta go back more, but I'm way back in the day. No slavery for one, and for two, I seen World War I documents to like all of the wars. I'm like, yo, this my shit, and I do see that I am a different type of black than the black in Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In terms of like my motivations, my ambitions, you know, my energy, all of us.
You know, with people like, you know, I'm this, I'm that. People that ask me what I am, I'm like, I'm a Moor, I'm Kemetic, I'm Native, I'm Caribbean, I'm Brazilian, I'm greedy, I'm all of it. Give me, I'm African, you know, I'm Arabic, I'm Asiatic. I want it all.
Why?
Because I'm greedy.
Okay, that's fair.
I have ancestral greed. I don't want to identify with one. I want it all.
You know why I say American now? is because I used to not say American, right? I used to be like, fuck America. I was like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's not fair here. They don't treat us right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm like, yo, what the
I
fuck?
like being an American.
Me too.
I'm not even gonna hold you.
I've embraced it because
Yeah.
I see we have so many resources at our disposal, right? We're so important here. We're so, whether anybody want to acknowledge it or not, we're fucking important.
We're the
here.
cultural epicenter of the world.
Listen, imagine America without black people. Just imagine it. Take a second and imagine America with no black people.
Yeah, the you melanated, because I'm very specific with my melanins. The you melanated individual that lives on this continent, specifically of North America, is the epicenter of culture.
Of the world.
The epicenter of culture of the world. Yes, specifically. And I say that via language, via arts, via entertainment, via dance. There's some negative aspects of the culture we giving people that they don't need to have either, though. You know, but we are the epicenter. You see Chinese people, Filipino people.
Hold on, you left something out though. Intellectually as well. Here's the thing. They got a head start on us. We weren't allowed to read.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get education, but just look at there's a wave of black intellectuals that are not even educated from their schools.
I don't think they're American though.
Huh?
I
What do you
think
mean?
they're African.
No. You're not hearing me, brother. Like you and I.
All right, let's go into inventions because this is.
I'm not on that.
Okay.
I'm talking about the budding intellectuals that are going to give rise to the next geniuses.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
Give me your top 5 intellectuals, Black Americans. Top 5.
Mike Rashid King.
You can't include
Hotep,
yourself. What
Hotep
kind of
Jesus.
you can't choose us.
Fucking 19 Keys, Billy Carson, Jason Maiden. I know a few. You feel me?
Okay.
I know a few, and here's the thing. All right, so let's say Robert Edward Grant. I'm a huge fan of his.
Okay.
He's a mentor from afar. Like we finally met, and I love this guy, right? I love him because his intellect is profound, but I don't give a fuck about just being smart just to be smart.
Yeah.
The man is a boss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure he'll be a billionaire at some point. You feel me? So when you can use your intellect to shift society, to shift culture, I fucks with that. You have a whole thing. I have a whole thing. Everyone that I've mentioned affects the culture in a very positive way. You know what I'm saying? One of my guys I talked about, he used to just do all of Jordan's design. Now it's Fear of God. He used to do Yeezy. You know what I'm saying? And we sit down, bro, and just go. You feel me? And listen, that matters, right? Now, I'm gonna tell you what, like a while ago, I'm listening to Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris. They just keep talking about IQ and race. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, bro, we don't even take IQ tests. Like, when was that a thing in our schools, right? Hit me up. So I go and like
the intelligent quotient test is so flawed.
Yeah, so let me go research it, right? So I went and looked up the people with the highest IQs.
Yeah.
What are they doing with their lives? Nothing. So what's the purpose? What's the point, right?
Yeah.
So then I said, fuck, I'm gonna take it. I take it with a proxy. Now, look, I think now intellect, what is intellect? To me, it's like that being capable mentally and having dexterity mentally and intellectually. So I sat there, I took it slow because I wanted to understand the test. And I scored high in average. But fast forward, I don't know, like this year in March, I took it again with very little sleep and was in the high. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the highest of the high, but in the high, right? I'm like, this is not, but the first time I took it, I knew it wasn't, this doesn't really measure real intelligence. You know what I'm saying? It is a form of intelligence, but in that whole process, I did research and I wrote a paper about intelligence. It's like 9 forms of intelligence. They only talk about one that they're good at, but we don't have a culture of taking IQ tests. So when they're saying these numbers, like, bro, I don't know anybody that's taking an IQ test
You know the flow of the IQ test is math. I'm like, How is math on the IQ test?
But it's very little math. You know
But
what I
the
mean?
fact that math is part of the IQ test is flawed, because it's like, so if you go to the jungle and you grab somebody who's never been introduced to a math class, you're going to tell me this person's not intelligent because they've never been introduced to math?
Here's the thing. It's
Like,
so
you can't-
weird. It's so weird that someone as smart as Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson would keep talking about race and IQ because of what you just said.
Are they smart though?
It seemed like it. Yeah.
You think Jordan Peterson's intelligent?
What he's created, yeah.
I see him as like one of the largest average minds on the planet.
But average minds don't create a cult. They don't do that. That's a part of intelligence. Listen. Harnessing your intellectual powers.
Did he create a cult,
Yeah.
or was a cult created around him?
So you think that was a whole like conspiracy for people to?
No, I
get
think
these people
I think he got popping on accident. Didn't somebody say that in the Twitter Spaces the other day?
Nah,
you said that.
Listen,
You said that. Yeah.
Here's the thing.
He said that. Yeah, he got
was
popping by accident.
He was living in his truth, and he rode that wave.
Yeah.
And he made pretty good out of it. You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty fucking smart. Just like I think Floyd Mayweather's a genius, because the man, they say he can't read. That's bullshit, but whatever. Let's say he can't read.
Yeah.
They make it even better. Oh, he can't read. He became
I think Kanye West.
became a billionaire.
I think Kanye West is more intelligent than Jordan Peterson, like by eons.
He's up there too.
No, like he surpasses Jordan Peterson. Like it's not even close.
I'm talking about in a complete
in a
cipher of things.
complete
Listen, what
analysis
have you
of intelligence.
for a person
Kanye
to-
West has surpassed Jordan Peterson
In what way?
and lapped him in every way.
I'm not denying. I'm not saying he hasn't, but I'm curious to hear what your breakdown on his intellect, Ye's intellect. So look, I'm saying this: just because one is considered intelligence, it means nothing to me. It's, who cares?
So
What have you
first of all, I have
produced?
to
What
I
you
have to tell you
produced?
my definition of intelligence.
All right.
My definition of intelligence is self-consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
What is your level of observing yourself? That is, to me, consciousness. Consciousness is intelligence. Not all this other arbitrary 3D stuff, pattern recognition. You know, the reason why white folks over-index in pattern recognition is because they've been kicking ass in war for so goddamn long.
Right.
That they've,
Let's go
that
back
they've
to
genetically created a trend of pattern
What's important
recognition.
in life to you?
What's important in life to
Yeah,
you?
I guess because like we have
Love.
to identify what's important to each
Love.
one of us to really say, all right, this is why I'm saying this is intellectual.
Love is the most important thing to me.
Explain.
And someone's ability to love themselves first and foremost, and then the ability to love others, and then third, the ability to demonstrate love in a manner in which other people can replicate it.
Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna play God's advocate. And I'm gonna talk about Jordan Peterson, and I can only speak from my perspective because I agree with you. I got it up there. That's my God. Love is my God. Right. That's the tenets that I live by. Right. So with me being a person of love, and I do love myself so much. Right. So, and I love what I produce as far as my children and the people in my life. I love them. I want to make all of them proud. Right. And for the time of my departure from this physical shell, I want everybody to be, I want them to be so excited instead of sad, so excited by what they have no idea what I've put in place for them, right? That's why I work so hard to make as much money as I can. Now, I've even got to a point to where over the years I hit home run, I stashed some of it, but I be buying mad shit. I haven't bought shit. I hit 7-figure home runs this year, right? Haven't bought a thing, nothing, not one thing. That's so unlike me because the older I get, I'm getting closer to that time to go because I love my people. Now,
Until you put your consciousness in a machine.
my consciousness is, no, that's not
No, I'm
what
just
for me.
teasing, I'm just
I would
teasing.
love to do that, but it's not. I love science and science fiction, so that's why it's fascinating to me, right?
Yeah.
But so I have no choice because that's my perspective
Yeah.
to look at Peterson as the same way. Like he's a man with a family, right? So He's taking his resources, whatever his gifts, and that's the ability to articulate whatever he wants to articulate and make people feel a certain way, right? And monetize it. And with that, he's helping a lot of people. There's a lot of people. If people are,
I will not deny that.
If people are coming to me like, yo, bro, you did this, that, and the third, I know he's getting that tenfold because his reach is a lot bigger than mine. Yeah. So to me, that's a man of, I think he's a dope ass dude. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's wise and that's intelligent and that's all of the positive things. You feel me? Versus somebody's just smart. Yeah. Speak well, debate, all of that shit. Okay, but listen, there's people I really admire, I'm a fan of intellectually, but they're not producing anything. I will say, I think that Jordan Peterson mopped the floor with Mike Eric Dyson in the Monk debate. Let's talk about that though. I think he mopped the floor. I didn't think so. Mike Eric Dyson, to me, is a rapper. That's what makes it so cool. People call him an intellectual, and I'm like, no, he's just a poet. Like and that is a certain types intellectual. It's a type of intelligence. Okay, but I haven't heard. Be careful where you're going right now. Good, because you're gonna go to where those people that put all of this shit on IQ as being the no. Okay, no, that's not where I'm going. What I'm saying is one of the common phrases I always say is people don't need information, they need inspiration. Okay? And when I think about people who are inspirational, Dr. Kaba Kabane comes into mind simply because of his demeanor when he teaches. He's one of the most inspirational people to me. I follow him on Instagram. I will follow him to the end of the road. And not only because he's intelligent and not only because he's knowledgeable, but his demeanor is inspirational. Dr. Umar does not give me the same vibe. Tariq Nasheed does not give me the same vibe. And I think the world needs Dr. Umar. And I think the world needs Tariq Nasheed. However, from those guys, I get information. From Dr. Kaba Kamene, I get inspiration. And I value inspiration higher. Because inspiration is about how you live and not really necessarily what you're saying. And I think that Tariq Nasheed says profound things. I think that Dr. Umar says profound things. I think that Jordan Peterson says profound things. But they are not as inspirational as Dr. Kaba Kamene by miles. To you? To me. Yeah. To me. Okay. I'm looking towards people like Taylor. When I think about people who are inspirational to me, I'm not looking at your mind, I'm looking at your heart. I'm inspired by Chad, and I'm inspired by my producer, Taylor. These are the people that make my heart beat. Okay. We're talking about two completely different things. When I see people, you're talking about people in your world. No, I'm talking about people with a heart in your world. They happen to be in my world. I can't speak on these people because I don't know these people. The problem is the people with the greatest heart aren't given the biggest platform. Let's look at somebody who are platforms really given to people. Yes. So your platform was given to you. Who gave you your platform? I was never given a platform. I built mine. Then what are you talking about? Then you're not a person of a big heart? Nobody has ever given me a platform outside of bosses. What did you just say though? For example. No. Let's back it up. Rewind. When I say given a platform, what I'm talking about is. You said nobody with a good heart is ever given. I'm talking about specific corporations signing an individual to a contract. So who has signed you to a contract? What platform? Nobody. Okay. Why haven't they said, Mike Rashid, this platform's going to give you why hasn't mainstream media inked a check for you? Mainstream media, hold on a second. I wouldn't do mainstream media has inked a check for Jordan Peterson. Who's mainstream media? Like who in particular are you talking about? He's signed. To whom? We don't got to talk about that. Why not? Let's just know. We should though. I don't want to talk about that. We should. But I don't want to. That's like indicting somebody with no evidence.
It's something
like,
that
it's
can
like
be,
saying, it's like, trust me.
No, it's the fact of the matter is it can be looked up. If somebody wanted to do that work, what I'm saying is certain individuals are signed to a contract and other individuals have not been signed to a contract. And what I'm saying is this world, when we're looking at businesses with massive budgets, are not signing people with the greatest heart. They're signing people that can be used for particular agendas and pushed. That's my point. The greatest minds and the greatest inspirers.
I can't contribute to this if you're giving me like, just trust me. It's like who are they? Who signed Jordan Peterson? That's what we're talking about.
Who signed Jordan Peterson?
Daily Wire.
Daily Wire.
Is he on Daily Wire?
Yeah.
Okay, but that's new because Daily Wire is new. So that has no impact on his growth.
Give me a rough budget on Daily Wire. Rough.
Let's look it up.
Vague.
100 million?
100 million. That's a rough.
Is that something that you know?
I think they said they're going to invest 100 million into kids programming in the next 3 years.
That's a projection.
Yeah, and I think they
I got those. Listen.
They have 100 million total in the bank?
I think that's what the
Okay.
latest article said.
Hold on.
That's what the later article said.
All right. So let's talk about that, right? So if we're just saying it like that, I got about 300 million in the bank. No cap.
Okay.
No cap.
Okay.
Trifecta, my biggest home run, 250 million right there.
That's fire. I need one.
That's not in my pocket.
Sign me.
Hold on, that's not in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So these are big. When your company gets big, you know what I'm saying? That money it's a company. That's a corporation's money.
Yeah.
I can't just go take that shit. You know what I'm saying? So let me see. We got to look this up. It's a $100 million a year business. My company is bigger than that. My company Trifecta is bigger than that. It's just a fact. That could be looked up. You know what I'm saying? So what does that mean? What does that mean? And I don't want to assign nobody for no agenda on anything.
You should sign me though.
I don't want to assign nobody for no agenda on anything. No, what I'm saying is this. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes people have great attributes and characteristics and they rise. Sometimes shitty people rise too. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. They're very polarizing. But that doesn't mean that one is not special or their heart is not good or pure or whatever. And what we were talking about, you took it to people that you know in your world, and I respect that. I feel the same way about my people. I have the same people around me forever, 20 plus years. You know what I'm saying? When I move to different states, it feels like I'm always in the same place because it's all the same team. You know what I'm saying? We travel the world together, experience a lot of things. So I'm with you on that. I was talking about people out there like that we're observing. We're talking about Peterson and Dyson and all of these guys. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. But I wanted to talk about that because I think that I'm an objective observer of things. And look, I didn't like when Peterson and Harris was talking that IQ shit. I'm like, bro, it's weird y'all keep talking about this because you seem like a nice guy. But I can still observe that I think he's a solid fucking person. I think he's wild smart. And for you to not think he's smart is interesting. You know what I mean?
I didn't say he wasn't smart.
That's fine.
I didn't say he wasn't smart.
Oh, okay.
I said he pales in comparison to other individuals like Kanye West or Ye.
What's your thoughts on Ye?
Ye has a social IQ beyond most people's intellectual capacity. The fact that people feed into Ye just lets me know like y'all don't get it, right? Like Ye's trying to demonstrate that he could play with you whenever he want. That's mastery. That he can just play with your mind. He can say one thing. He's exposing how much lower people are compared to him. The fact that he can say one thing and now he's the talk of the town. And he's looking like, y'all are corny. Because I say one thing and now you're talking about me, and he's laughing like I'm the GOAT. He's exposing how infantile humanity is. And he's trying to make people understand that. How he can go one side of the spectrum and say white lives matter, and then go to another side of the spectrum and talk about Hitler. And he's triggering people from all different angles.
Let's be honest about that, though. The white lives matter people, and then are the Hitler people. Those are the people that are alt-right, that rock with Nazi vibes. So it's not really a stretch of what he did. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, white lives matter people are not the white Jews. They got their own thing. So his target right now is a completely different group. It's not the white lives matter people.
I'm talking about the people he offended.
Yeah, it's not. They've been riding with him and they're still with him. Listen, I know people. Hold on, I know before all of this shit happened. But the fact that he goes so hard on Christianity, I know people who don't really fuck with blacks like that. But they was all in the politics shit. They were like, yeah, he's so Kanye West when he was rocking the MAGA hat and all that shit.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck. But they don't even know shit about Jews. These are white people.
My point is
who are on that not saying they're racist or whatever, but they lean on that side, that alt-right energy, that, you know what I mean? So that wasn't a vast stretch for him.
Here's what I saw. Mm-hmm. I saw him offend black people, and then the next week get them right back. Right? Because black people...
Did he offend black people or did he offend Boosie? I didn't really see a lot of blacks outraged personally. But keep in mind, I'm not tapped into that shit like that. But I know me and everybody I know, nobody gave a fuck. I'm like, the nigga marketing is shit.
I have a friend who was in the fashion show, the White Lives Matter fashion show. And she was attacked by black people. Like,
she's white or black?
She's black. Mm. And she was attacked over and over again by black people. I know this for a fact.
What did the front of the shirt say?
It's got the Pope on it and some other like weird imagery. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wonder why that shit wasn't shown. Because everything's for a purpose.
Well, the media obviously focused in on the thing that's going to get the clicks, right? The White Lives Matter. But here's my point.
That's too juicy not to show the front, though.
And you know, when something happens, we have to pull the lesson away. And the lesson is, not everything needs your reaction.
That's I live by that.
And we're in an era where everyone believes that they need to have a reaction to things. For example, something happens in the media, I see it, I say nothing. And then my followers come to me and they go, Hotep Jesus, what's your reaction to this? Okay, you've indicated that you need some inspiration from me or some insight from me, so I'm going to respond to that. But it was invoked, it was a request, to which now I'm going to give you a reaction. But initially, I had no reaction. I was ambivalent. I was completely ambivalent to the matter to begin with. I don't care about 90% of the things I talk about. I only talk about them because the hoi polloi needs somebody to give them a balanced look on them, because I know they're not going to get a balanced look. So it's my duty to give them a balanced look on all the arbitrary current events that happen on a daily basis. But the fact of the matter is, people are in a reaction business. They know that if something happens in the media, and this happens at the lowest levels of social media, you don't have to have a large platform like you and I. You can have a very small platform and you will feel compelled to have a reaction for the sake of the grift, for the sake of clicks, for the sake of retweets. And until we release ourselves from that need, we will always perpetuate disgust in our world.
I don't even think is that they're even thinking like that. I think they just really tugged. Their emotions are so easily tugged at that they're reacting on that period alone.
That's the other part.
You know what I mean? So
that's the other part. You have some people who are in it for the clicks, and you have many people, I would say the vast majority, are actually reactionary.
That emotional.
They are actually emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that is the underlying message that Ye is trying to give us. He's saying, why are y'all so reactive?
Mm-hmm.
It's nuclear even. You know, I do something, it's like everybody's got to say something. Do you realize that if Ye said something and nobody reacted, he'd probably come with a different approach?
He's been doing this since George Bush don't like black people. The Taylor Swift.
He did it with the first album when he came with the pink polo.
That's what he do. That's what he do. He's just marketing. You know, he taking it to another level now. Because he's in a whole nother level.
He's counterculture.
He's taking it to another level, and he wants to be important and etched in the fabric of history, and he's doing that. He's doing a good job at it. You know what I mean?
And I can see it because this is something I've practiced over the years, was counterculture. I just reached a certain point in my life where I no longer have to practice these tactics. I reached a point in my life where what I'm practicing is maturity.
I'm working
right?
on.
Like I'm not in the business of getting reactions of people. I'm in the business of inspiring people to think without jolting their emotions. Because I used to do that, you know, I would jolt their emotions. And I do that sometimes still. I won't say, because I did that recently when I reacted to the Brittany Griner story. I knew how my base would react, mostly because, you know, many of them came from various interviews I've done on right-wing platforms. But that's not the core of what I do. The core of what I do now is more around a specific type of mind, a mature mind, a mind that wants better. And this is a very small segment of the population, and I'm completely happy with that. But that's the village I want to live in. Ye doesn't live in that village. However, after he's done doing what he's doing, that's the only village that's going to be standing. That's going to be like, I get Ye. I totally get Ye. He ain't did nothing to me that has said to me that I got to cancel. The White Lives Matter, I was like, I kind of need one of shirts. I'm not going to wear it because I'm not putting the Pope on me. That's something I just won't do. But the White Lives Matter itself, I was like, that's kind of cool. When he said the Jewish comments, I didn't think that was cool. However,
which one?
Any of it.
You didn't think anything you said about the Jews was cool?
No, I didn't.
Which one in particular? 'Cause maybe I didn't hear them all.
Specifically the complaints, right? I'm a consistent individual. When I hear black folks, specifically African Americans, complaining about white people, I don't condone that type of behavior. It seems to me like victim mentality. So when I saw Ye complaining about Jewish people, I saw the same thing. I just saw I saw a black dude just complaining about white people. I'm not in the complaining business. I'm not in the victim business. I'm in the victor business. I'm in the winner business. I'm in the business of let's speak truth to power.
I'm with you 100%, but I want to give a little context to that, to what he said. Is it a complaint or is he waging war? And I'm gonna tell you why I say that. One thing that's consistent about Ye is he's never been on that time of putting out music that is degenerate to our community and to our culture. He's always been Jesus this, college that, whatever, right? So that's a constant.
Oh, that Pablo album was kind of wild.
But he's never talking about killing niggas.
No.
The shit that he's talking about. So
he's been very like pornographic, but yeah.
Okay, but I don't think that's as bad as I know my ops and this and the third. So what he's saying is he's pointing out a fact, an objective truth that, look, you see these guys' names, they run these record labels. You see the artists that they put out, it's all they promote and throttle.
But whose fault is that?
We'll get to that. Listen, if you take a little, it's intelligent for a 18-year-old, 19-year-old to do the type of music that's going to get him successful, make him successful, and bring his family out of the hood. And if it's called killing kids, killing your mamas, killing your neighbors, whatever, yeah, let's promote that shit, right? Let me do that. He's a kid. He doesn't know any better, right? And this guy's giving him money. Like, they're making mad money, right? Ain't no positive rap like being propelled out there. You don't see that on videos or on radio. So boom. So I don't blame a kid. He's a kid, right? Now, there's a guy dangling a carrot like, yo, what you got? Let me hear your demo. Oh, that shit ain't hard enough, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're walking these kids into that shit, and they're fucking promoting that shit, putting big budgets behind it. You know what I'm saying? Look at Thugger, bro. I love Thugger. I love his music. But I'm like, my guys, the realest of the, like, Tony Montana out this bitch. You know what I'm saying? And that's promoted. You know what I'm saying? You see, he's being used as an example right now, but that shit is bad. Like, mothers died. His children's mother died. Like, wow shit. You know what I'm saying? This is terrible for the community. All in this rap shit. You feel me? So that shit should not be, listen, as much as I love it, the filthiest of the filthy, but I have to be honest and say this shit is wrong. It's not right. It's not right. They're speaking death to the consciousness.
So is that another group's fault, or is that our fault?
It's both. Now,
is it?
No, yeah. Look, what he did, I love. What Ye did, it worked, right?
It sounds like when we blame it on others, we relinquish our power.
Here's the thing. It's not that. It's not that. He put everybody on notice. Because I was denying, that shit is just entertainment. But I'm like, that shit is real, bro. Because I had other people before this shit happened arguing with me about it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't ready to give up the music or talk about it in such a way. But I'm like, you know what? Right is right. I don't care who gives me the truth. I have to accept it. So, like, you know, we put together a declaration of freedom for black men in this country, which is good. And in it, I articulate this is good for everybody, but I'm speaking to the most melanated because our leaders are gone. So, and in it, what we deem as anti-black, we're attacking it. And the current state of hip hop, that evil energy that we're putting out there is literally anti-black. So we're attacking it. We're not supporting it. We're talking about it. So what he did, you can't look at it as complaining, just calling something out. You know what I'm saying? Complaining, that's just like, I don't want to hear about it. It's annoying. They're complaining. Nah, it is annoying, but let's talk about it. Boom, I got the bat signal. I'm taking action. Me and my guys are taking action. We all have big ass followings to be getting this message out there, and we're all dedicated to doing it. So he's waging a war, and I'm with it. I'm in here fighting.
I get it.
I'm fighting it right now.
I get it. I understand it. I even love it. However, I disagree with it. And it's not an objective thing. It's subjective. That's handle your problems one way, I handle mine another. For example, I entered into a situation with a tech company.
Wait, I want to hear about what you disagree with.
I'm about to show you through this. I'm about to show you through this. I got screwed in my contract. However, I'm not about to go to the world and be like, yo, these people screwed me, da da da. No, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be like, okay, they screwed me here, 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 and here. So the next time I do a deal, I'm gonna make sure I don't get screwed here, 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 and here. But I'm gonna take this cut of the check of whatever I got out of that deal. That's just the way I handle my problems. That's not to say the way Ye is handling his problems is wrong, because that's how he likes to handle his problems. But the way I handle my problems is the way I handle my problems. This is a subjective thing. I'm not wrong. He's not wrong. He's not right. I'm not right. It's just the way I like to do things.
So is that tech company that screwed you? Do they have a hand in Black Death? Is it a problem?
So the way I want to approach that conversation is, if you say another group is the cause of your demise,
you minimizing it, a real problem.
You are relinquishing all your power.
It's not true. So let me ask you a question. I'm gonna walk you back through it again, slow. he said XYZ. These people are promoting this music.
And they're getting paid off of Black Death.
Right, okay.
That is a fact.
Okay, let's stop right there though. I heard it. A lot of people heard it.
Right.
And I'm sure we're not the only ones that are trying to take action right now.
Okay.
And we're taking action like direct. Okay.
So let me ask you a question.
No, hold on. Is that not effective? Like, that's not just everybody just talking.
But let me ask you a question.
What's up?
Can we expect them to stop doing what they're doing?
I don't. That's why we're doing it.
So what are we talking about that for?
I'm telling you what we're talking about. No. I'm telling you what we're talking about. He put the bat signal. He put everybody on notice. Now we're taking action.
Who is we?
People, myself, and I have a network.
I've been taking action before he was even doing this,
okay,
though.
that's fine.
So he ain't putting me on notice.
There's more people doing it. You know what I'm saying? Look, I was a person saying like, it's not a problem.
But here's what your misunderstanding is. I get that. It's just not working for me.
What do you mean for you?
His tactics are working for a certain segment of people. I'm not in that segment. Just like if you were to market a product to a specific demographic, I'm not in that demographic. That's all I'm saying is the demographic that he's targeting with his tactics, I ain't in that demographic. I'm in a whole nother demographic.
All right, so let me tell you
So while he's over here working on the problem this way, I'm working on the problem this way. And I believe both deserve to exist. Maybe it should exist the way he's handling the problem. Maybe it should. What I'm saying is I'm so focused on doing things my way, I really don't care how he's doing it. I'm enjoying the show. It's entertaining to me to watch him handle this problem. Like, oh, this is pretty fascinating. This is pretty cool. I wouldn't do it that way, but cool.
It's fine. Everybody have their way. As long as things are happening, you know. So I'm a person of action, right? I call them talkity talkers.
Yeah.
People that's always talking about problems and talking about solutions but not doing anything. Like me and my brothers, we have an investment group called Oasis Bill, in which we've been buying up properties all over Chicago, right? We in Miami right now, we in every city, you know what I'm saying? And we're gentrifying our own hoods, you know what I'm saying? So, but and we're employing a lot of young black men who don't have skills, teaching them the trades, right? Contracting, they're learning that, they're making money, they have money for a house when they're done with each job, whatever. So we're doing a lot in the community, boots on the ground, like real shit, right? Putting money where our mouths are and out there in the streets. But with that, we all have different powers that we all employing as well.
Yeah.
So just like when my first nonprofit, Dirty Angels, I would get people on social to come with me to go out and feed people, you feel me? And give out hygiene kits and shit like that. So we all have different attributes to employ, different tactics to employ, and that's what we're doing. And us putting together these declarations and getting this shit out in content and making the right shit cool is part of working on that problem. And that's one of the problems right there, is what Ye said. Listen, I'm busy. I'm not tapped into all of the shit, right? But he has such a huge mouth and platform. I'm like, yeah, niggas, that's real shit. What y'all mad at him for? It's real shit. And then it's sitting on me like, that is real shit. Damn. And I'm over here talking about, oh, that ain't a problem. It's just entertainment. But nah, it is massaging the consciousness of these young kids and older people too. Like, it's putting people in a certain mood to go ride, is whatever, you know what I'm saying? So,
right. Say it again. You said massaging the consciousness of young kids.
Yeah.
Yes. Bingo. Keep going.
So
I ain't no young kid. I'm 42-year-old man. You ain't doing shit for me.
Bro, that's not what I'm saying, bro.
No, but that's what you said.
But people like us, we don't have to, but we are the ones in position to help to counter this music and get people on code and be like, yo, this shit is real. Think about you hear what that lyric just said? I fucked a broke nigga, bitch. Like, why is that cool?
Yeah, that's not
cool. You feel
me?
Yeah. It's up to us to do it. A kid ain't gonna do that. Right. So maybe you was misunderstanding what I'm saying. It's not, he's like, I'm not a rapper. I'm not putting out music. I gotta change my content. But I'm a person with influence So I'm going to use my influence to help massage the consciousness of these kids back to life.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yes.
And so his tactic worked on me.
What I'm saying is, if I could wave a magic wand and remove what Ye was doing, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. That would disturb the natural fabric of destiny. I like what Ye is doing. I disagree with it, but I only disagree with it because I handle my problems differently. But that doesn't make what he's doing wrong.
I think you're making this to be a personal thing, like what you do in your life, like that particular contract.
Yes.
What he should do with his contract. That's not what this is about.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Then what are you saying?
What I'm saying.
Because your example was just that.
What I'm saying is, Ye should do what Ye's doing. But I don't have to be inspired by it.
That's fine.
Right?
Of course you don't.
I want to make that distinction and clear for the viewers, though. Right? I'm a grown ass man. I'm 42 years old. Ye ain't doing shit for me.
I get it. You're here. Listen, I get inspiration from all kind of motherfuckers.
Ye ain't doing shit for me.
He ain't doing shit for me either. But here's the thing. I'm not doing shit for him. This is not like one of the presidential candidates and like got everybody all riled up like I'm voting for him and I'm fighting against people about it. Nah, it's not that. I'm doing shit for the most melanated. You feel me? So, and what he's talking about.
Not.
You're not?
No.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I am. That's fine. That's what my motivation is. Cause our music is fucked up.
I don't do shit for black people. I do not specifically target black people. I specifically target minds that want a better way. What happens is, because I'm black and because I wear dreadlocks, young black men will naturally tap into my content. I don't have to specifically target black men to target black men. I am a black man, so I'm naturally going to target black men. This is one of the greatest lessons I've learned. When I stop trying to, I feel as though we do a disservice by trying to target based upon skin color. We don't need blackness. Our people need intellectualism.
Okay, we're gonna have to really dissect that, right? With like messages, comments, this and the third. Now, I'm targeting black men for a reason.
But you are a black man.
I understand that, but hear me out. You
got a chain around, a diamond chain
you're
around.
Not even listening to me, my brother. Let me talk to you, brother. I have very influential, powerful, wealthy, and smart white friends, white Jewish friends, this and the third. They never hear me talk about nothing of this magnitude in terms of like social events and shit for the people, right? They hear me we're talking about geometry and sacred geometry and shit like that, right? Now, I'm not gonna say his name, but one of my very rich, successful, smart, cool, Jewish white buddies FaceTime me today. I haven't talked to him in a year. You know what I'm saying? I put out a declaration of freedom yesterday, right? And it starts by saying this is the declaration of freedom for the black man. This is freedom of thought. To my white brothers, my Latino brothers, my Asian brothers, my Middle Eastern brothers, and my Polynesian brothers, whatever I said, this is for all of us. But I'm specifically calling out the most melanated because our heroes, our leaders, get taken out by banned off social, labeled this, thrown in jail, assassinated, this, that, and the third. And one of my spiritual fathers, one of them, is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, right? When he rose to prominence and when white people started listening to him, they wanted him to move a certain way and he wouldn't, they shut him down. I don't like that, that's a problem. And here's why. I've watched him raise dead souls. Like I've sat in the mosque after we have a process called fishing, going out, selling the final paper, the final call, the paper. And Brothers is trying to raise money, but they're also talking to people that's fucked up and bring them back to the mosque. And this is what you'll see. This is real, actual facts. A fucking crackhead sitting here. All right, this what's up, whatever. Next Friday, boom, he's there again, a little cleaned up a little bit. Boom, you see him every week. He's an FOY. You don't even notice he's a upright man. I've never seen any other organization raise people like that, and I see it a lot with the nation, right? There's no press on the nation and the work that the nation puts in. You know what I'm saying? Like actually FOI patrolling grimy ass hoods and keeping them safe with no guns. You feel me? So this is a very important person to black people because listen, he's a model citizen. No crimes, no scandals, no secrets, no nothing. He's open and honest, right? And y'all deleted him. You feel me? And put all kind of filth on his name. When you Google him, it looked like the worst person in the world. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've been wanting to, this is some real shit. I've been wanting to I have friends who are white, who are Jewish, whose words matter, right? Who have scolded Trump, like that kind of shit, right? And have other white people like, damn, you're right. And I want to have those conversations with them about my spiritual father. It ain't about Ye, but Ye, he got everybody talking. And matter of fact, one of the guys I'm talking about, I'll tell you about this off camera, but he hit me up talking about, I want to help Ye. You feel me? This is no cap. And I'm like, forget Ye, I want to talk to you about the minister. You see what I'm saying? So this shit, like all of this shit is, I'm out here playing 4-dimensional chess. You feel me? I'm not playing checkers. I'm not like the revolution, and I've been who I am forever, but I never used my powers, like my spiritual assignment of Archangel Michael, like I was talking earlier. I mean that shit. I haven't put that out, like used that shit yet. Now it's time. You feel me? This is a perfect opportunity. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to like wake up a lot of people. And when I'm saying black man, I got mad white followers. They're like, what is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? And they have to dig in and they can't deny anything that I'm saying. Cause I'm saying, yo, look, what's good for the black man is good for all men in this country, right? But let's talk about this one. Because I heard them all, I'm not thinking about reparations, 400 or whatever, but I don't like when motherfuckers is talking that shit and then they be like sending money to Ukraine and nobody's fighting or protesting that shit. And I'm not saying don't do it, but like let's spread that shit around, baby. Run me that bag, you know what I'm saying? Or give me a real good reason on why you're sitting it there and not here. Give me that respect, because we're Americans, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, it's a lot of shit that I'm doing that is strategic. You feel me? But nonetheless, I'm with you. I love you, and I love what you do.
I love you too, bro.
I love what you do, and you're powerful. You know what I'm saying? I get a lot of inspiration from you as well. And I do also want to reach our people on an intellectual level, because we're not being dealt with on that level. And me personally, in my own network of people, I know brilliant blacks, but nobody's dealing with us like that. You know what I'm saying? So like when I'm sitting down in here with these brilliant people and really intelligent people, I'm like, damn, you should meet so-and-so. You know what I'm saying? So that's the vibe for me. That's the energy. That's the time that I'm on, you know? Because look, money is nothing. Like, I don't give a fuck. My money thing is for my fam. You feel me? And for my friends and my homies. I don't give a fuck about money, bro. I like to fight. I'm a dog. You feel me? So actually I'm a god. So that's what I'm here to do, and I want to do it in the right fight though. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I used to be like super pro-black. Even I hated, at one point I hated white people, man. I was super like pro-black nationalist. And that was when I was the least effective of my message in reaching the black community. From my personal lived experience, I've reached more black men specifically when I stopped trying to target black men. When I just spoke my mind. And it's crazy because I go out in public and I'm stopped by black men. Yo, you Hotep Jesus? White men don't stop me. black men do. But if you ask anybody, they'll tell you the majority of my audience is white folks. But I think the core of my audience, like the audience that like really, 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 really loves me and appreciates my message, is young black men. Because when they see me, they see something that they can become. I've stepped outside of everything they said we were secluded to. You know, they say we gotta dance, we gotta rap, and you know, whatever, or do sports, right? Either you got sling a clack, rack rock, or you got a wicked jump shot, as Biggie said, right? But they see a black man who goes on Rogan, Tim Pool, Fox, ventures into the cryptocurrency platform. I'm going into predominantly white spaces and still keeping it trill, as some people would say, right? And black men are seeing that they don't have to stick to the paradigm of the crack rock and the jump shot. And they are inspired because there's a lot of black men out there that just want to watch anime and be geeks. They don't want to have to fit into this hip hop idea of what it means to be a black man. And I speak to that community. Yeah. As well as like the hip hop community, right? So, yeah. But like I said, I found that when I dropped all the, you know, quote unquote black rhetoric, I reached way more. Like I said, I got black women reaching out to me. Can you talk to my son? And you can ask Taylor, my platform ain't about black people. All right, so yet black people are coming to me like, yo, I need help.
I feel you. Now I have black and white people come up to me all the time, all day, every day, wherever I'm at. Weird places, normal places, all of that shit, right? So I'm opening the dialogue with white people. So yeah, it might jar them the outset, the title, but they keep just listen one more line. They're like, okay, he's including me as well, right? So like I said, one of my guys hit me today to have a conversation. This is an important guy. White people listen to him. We need white people. We need assistance with this thing. You feel me? Slavery didn't end because we wanted it to end. It was some good white people in the fight. Yeah. Right? So me saying black man this, black man that, is bringing them to the table too, because I'm already good with them, and now they want to talk. Bro, I just put this video up yesterday. You know what I'm saying? 2 of my guys, we're gonna sit down. So, and that's what's necessary. That's what's needed, and the fact that we're mobilizing my group of guys. We're actually out there. Before all of this shit, we've been buying properties and shit like that, fixing them up, giving people housing that they can respect, that they love. You know what I'm saying? And helping other young men with trades and make money. So this is before all of this shit, right? It's getting bigger now. We got a big thing. By the time this come out, the announcements will be out there. We'll Revolt. We're doing our first event in Chicago, really telling the world what we're doing and celebrating it, right? So, you know, we're fearless. I'm fearless with this shit. And look, if somebody's feeling is hurt because I'm addressing my people, that's cool. It's unfortunate, but I have nothing against nobody else. But I really need to get these guys activated, because the more these guys is activated, the better for this country. Because these guys are brilliant. These guys are powerful. You know what I'm saying? I want to see these guys as cops too. I want to see these guys in STEM, you know what I'm saying? All of that across the board. You feel me? So that's why I'm going directly to these guys. Not everybody need the help that we need. And I'm here for my people. I want to help, like for real. Brother, we have to run this back. We have to run to part 3. Of it, and they're ready. But you know I love you and I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? My brother. Maybe we hang out tonight. Let's get into some shenanigans if you're down. You know what I'm saying? But let the people know where they can find Hotep at.
Don't. Find yourself.
Find yourself. On that note, we out of here. Peace.